Hey, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, and welcome. It's that time. That's right. We're back here once again for another edition of our fabulous Talk Tuesday. Oh, are you ready for this? Because I'm excited. I hope you're excited. Hello, Rose. Welcome in. So happy to have you here. I hope everybody's ready for it because we have tonight's special guest. That's right. Tonight's special guest is a variety streamer who truly has no fear. At least that's what I keep telling myself. I've watched him go ghost hunting and truly terrify them ghosts. We have, though, the reigning king of screams. Our guest has faced his fears for our entertainment, and we've seen him get chased down by many a terrifying thing in Dead by Daylight and somehow managed to pull off a truly heroic escape. We've also followed him on many terrifying ghost hunts in Phasmophobia, where he's proven without a shadow of a doubt that he knows how to out-talk a spirit using a spirit box. You can tell when he's in a rare mood because his high-pitched squeaks are across that microphone is probably one of the most memorable sounds you've ever seen. And speaking of memorable things, we saw him navigate the terror at dead of night. And while the antagonist might have gotten their due, it certainly looked like it didn't stop him from coming back for more time and time again. If you're looking for a scary streamer for your amusement, then you won't have to look very far because you already know who we're talking about. Let's give a nice warm welcome to our spooky guest, who's the host with the most when it comes to dealing with them ghosts. That's right, the man behind the legendary screams himself. We're talking about the one and only Glocky Gaming. Glocky Gaming, welcome to Talk Tuesday.
Hello.
I'm hitting buttons. I'm like, did I hit the right button? Did I? But not again. I swear to God, I need to mark
I
these
did see
buttons.
that.
I need to. I
I,
just
wa-
need to
I
mark
was
the buttons.
listening and I did see the deafen coming off and then the mute coming off and it's like
Like, what's like? Well, I've got two buttons. One deafens and one mutes, and I put them side by side on an unmarked keyboard.
oh
Tell me, I don't get
okay.
that confused often.
Yeah. Didn't
Yo,
work this
Jen,
time.
welcome in. Welcome in.
Hello Jen. Hiya Rose.
But yeah, so that's a thing that happens. Occasionally, I'm just an idiot, and that's fine. We're fine.
Mhm.
I'm fine with that. But welcome in, Glocky. So happy to have you here. For those of you new around here for Talk
Thank
Tuesday,
you.
Talk Tuesday is where we take in we make a new friend. We bring in a fellow streamer who's out there in the wild doing their thing, and then we put them in the hot seat and let you guys ask all kinds of questions about them, and we get to learn all about this fantastic individual and hopefully make a new friend. The rules are simple. There's channel point redeems to ask your questions. Feel free to hit them up. We've got new channel points redeemed with some rather interesting questions. Those are still available for people to push and have fun with. But basically, we're going to sit around and have a little happy little talk. If don't worry about trying to keep up with the questions. Chat sometimes gets moving fast and free, and so if it gets away, it's fine. But don't worry about trying to keep up with the questions. I've got a little program that will capture all those, and I will make certain that we continue to feed them to you throughout the next 3 hours that you and me are going to sit down here. If you need
3
to
hours.
end early, let me know. We can drop out early.
Oh,
It's
okay.
just fine. Um, and then, as always, if I will do my best to filter the questions, make certain we're not asking you things inappropriate. Like Zoda likes to ask everybody for their credit card numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's all you get, Zoda. I'm sorry. Deal with it. Now, if a question is fairly silly enough, I may make fun of it. You, however, can either judge me for making fun of it or join in making fun of the question. So, whichever one suits your preferences in that matter. But there will definitely be some questions that if they come through, I won't feed them to you. Or if I'm really in a mood, I may just be really snarky with the questions and pick fun of them. And you're welcome to join in on that. beyond that, if I ask you a question, it gets past my filters and you are uncomfortable with the questions for whatever reason, we don't need to know the reasons. You don't need to explain. You can just say, no, we're not talking about that. Perfectly fine. We'll move
Yep.
right along.
Sounds good.
Beyond that, exclamation puzzle in chat will get you a link to the puzzle that will be up on the screen. And I think that pretty much covers the whole gist of it. So for anybody new here, congratulations. You are now aware of the rules. Don't tell me you don't know what the rules are. I didn't explain them. Yes, we did.
Favorite fictional dragon? That's got to be Spyro. 100% Spyro.
Well, we'll hold on to that question because that's not the first one. I get the first two questions.
Okay.
That's how this works.
Okay.
But more than
Broken the rules
anything,
already.
yeah, no, we're not cutting you short just yet. If you're ready to go, and you don't have any questions. Then I'm
I'm all
ready
good.
to go. You're good? Okay. Well, then with that, my friend, with that, we're going to move to the actual Talk Tuesday screen and officially welcome you to, where's the button? Where's the button? There it is. Welcome to Talk Tuesday. The man, the myth, the legend, he's here. I was hands-free for a bit. You're back. Hi. Welcome back, Rose. We're happy to have you here.
Hello, hello.
We're happy to have all of our friends here. Why is that showing up? Never mind. It's gone away now. Oof. Okay. So, as always, you have two questions at bare minimum that you get stuck answering. Two. Well, technically, there are four. So there's two at the front and then two at the end. And then you get to choose the rate. So the first two questions, we'll get you started with the first two. What got you into streaming? Like, why did you decide to suddenly turn on and throw that and be the amazing personality for your community that you are today? We'll kick that all off.
Yeah, well, I think we all have a big passion for gaming. You know, that's the main thing, of course. Through the lockdown, I did have quite a lot of friends that were streaming, and eventually I just decided, why not give it a go? You know, see what it's like, see how I'd get on with it. And you know, here I am. You know, it's been great. I've had a really good time, met a lot of great people through it. So that's
Right.
what it's all about. It's about meeting new friends and
Yeah, it's
you know,
making new
getting to know
friends, right?
people and, yeah.
Who doesn't
Absolutely.
like making new friends? Excellent.
So yeah, like that was it. It was just a bunch of friends around me that were streaming at the same time. And I thought, you know what, let's give it a go.
I can do that. It's easy, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I quite like talking to people. So let's go for it.
Right. Well, I mean, but you know, there's definitely a I like to call it like a pattern, right? It's a little bit more than just like talking with people, because you do tend to spend a lot of time like talking to yourself as well.
Patter's a really good one to use, because that is something that's used a lot here in Scotland. You have to have a good patter.
Yep. Well, that's the word I use for I said the word I use for it. It's what strikes me as the right word to use in that, because it's almost like being a streamer sometimes.
I would say
it's almost like
as well. Sorry, to having good banter. I think there's a bit of a difference between the two.
Babs.
Yeah.
Babs, you're streaming. Go back to your stream.
Hiya, Babs.
At least I think Babs is still streaming. Isn't Babs still streaming? I don't know now. They were streaming when we were starting up.
Don't tell me what to do.
Now it looks like they're not streaming. They moved on. Okay, never mind, Babs. You can stick around. You're done streaming. Don't tell me what to do, Linda. Listen, Susie. Listen. We have a good deal of fun around here. But I mean, you do, right? So that's kind of the point of streaming at some points, right? Everybody, I think, gets into it to make new friends, and to have fun and to share their passions for not just gaming. Like streaming nowadays has all kinds of different content providers nowadays. If you stop and look at it, right? From There's makers and crafters, there's book writers, there's people that are just looking for individuals to come and
Yeah,
co-work with them.
I mean that's the other thing as well, is I don't just do the gaming thing. Right now I'm actually in the process of making a game.
Oh,
And
nice.
I'm not actually making the game on stream. What I'm doing is every Saturday. Although I haven't really been making a lot of progress on it, but each Saturday I will stream, and if I've got a progress update, I will be, giving that update for the first hour of the Saturday stream, and I'll be showing people what I've done throughout the week, to
Nice.
make that progress. So
Well, yeah, but I
yeah,
mean,
that's
it's
gonna.
still it's like a check-in at that point. But I mean, it
Mhm.
still holds you accountable to doing some work on things, right? So I mean, that's
Yeah, yeah, definitely gives me the motivation to do it, to
right.
keep going with it. Because I think that's the thing, is I did my university degree was, I got a bachelor's in computer games technology, so it
Okay.
is in making games really. So like I've not really found the motivation for such a long time after that. Lockdown didn't help with that. I kind of graduated into the lockdown, um, and then I ended up finding a job for 2 years and didn't really have the motivation to get into it. But streaming and doing that thing every Saturday has kind of given me that motivation that I need,
There you go.
to kind of keep going with it a bit.
Well, staying motivated is a very important thing to do, especially when you're doing. Like, I'm a software developer, but I'm not a games
Mhm.
designer, so I do
Yeah.
more generic software. Specifically, I'm
Oh
at
yeah.
the hardware layer, is where I do my
Uh-huh.
programming at. Um,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I've that's really been a lot of the jobs that I've actually done are more software development and the IT jobs as well.
mhm.
So yeah,
And
I've done
you
a bit
do
of web
tend
development.
to. It is a very creative process, and so not being motivated is a very painful thing.
Yeah, yeah. It's definitely, you definitely have to find that motivation from somewhere, and I'm just glad that I found it again.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, that's excellent. So,
hmm
getting back in was just get back in, make some friends, watch everybody else doing it, get a little jealous. I get the FOMO. Definitely get the FOMO. We all,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think every one of us that turns on a stream eventually ends up with the FOMO because we spend just as much time in our friends' streams as we do our streaming ourselves some days. At least that's what it feels like to me. And so it's kind of
Yeah.
like, oh, I could be streaming right now. FOMO. I could be doing
Yeah,
this. No, no, no. I'm gonna behave. I've got other things to do, but I still want to do that.
absolutely. I mean, I'm actually going across to Vancouver on the 20th, and I'm bringing my old gaming laptop. It could still run games like FAS and DVDs, so
Right.
I'll still be able to run some streams and stuff like that, and that'll be good.
There you go.
Um,
Be fantastic. Yeah, you'll
so
be just up the
yeah,
road from me.
nice. Just up the road.
Yeah, I think it's like a 4.5, maybe 5 hour drive into Vancouver from where I'm at. So
Okay,
I have to double check on that. I
very
could be
nice.
wrong. I could be wrong about time zone, but
Uh,
yeah, you're just north up the
you
road.
say that, and like the funny thing is, you get a good bit through Scotland in that time. So, you know,
Yeah, yeah, okay. To be fair, I have talked to a number of people from in and around your area, not
Mhm.
just Scotland, but like England and whatnot. And
Uh-huh.
for me, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna make a 4 hour drive today. And they're like, oh my, why would you drive so far? I'm like, what are you talking about? That's not far. Far is like, I
Uh-huh.
moved across the country and drove
Yeah,
for almost 50 hours.
yeah, yeah.
That's
That's
far.
far, far. Uh-huh.
4 hours?
Yeah, it's
It's nothing.
yeah, that I mean, it really isn't that bad. Like, especially if you're only doing it one way. It's not
Yeah.
exactly a bad trip, really. Um, but I guess doing it the other way as well and having an 8 hour round trip is still quite a long way if you think about it.
Well, if you're doing round trips always suck because that
Yeah.
you go out and then you come back. I don't mind an 8 hour round trip if that 8 hours is broken up between like you drive there then you hang out at the destination for anywhere from 4 to 16 to 20 hours, right? As long as you hang out as much time as it took you to drive there, then the drive back doesn't feel so bad because it's now broken up by a long period of, not driving.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's more so my preference. Now, I get the gaming portion of your name, but Glocky Gaming, where did you come up with that?
Glocky is a lot of Irish will be able to tell you as well. It is a shorthand kind of nickname for my surname.
Aha. Okay.
Yeah. So like my dad used to get called Glocky in school when he was younger.
Oh.
And yeah, it's quite known. It was funny, but also a wee bit worrying when my Irish friend informed me that her aunt said, "Is your friend's second name this?" And I was like, "Huh? How did she know?" And apparently, she just known a lot of people with that second name because it is quite a common Irish name.
Fair.
So
Well, I mean, it's like in my family, we have like almost everybody in my family shares the same name. We're all Edwards. Like I don't mind saying.
Yeah.
I mean, we're all Edwards in my family. Every male member of the family is an Edward. And so you're like, oh, okay, great.
Yeah.
There's like 400 of you guys, and you're all Edwards, and we're like, yep.
Yeah, there's a very common for me it's mine is a very common one. It's McLaughlin, so you'll hear that a lot in Ireland. You'll hear it a lot here in Scotland too.
Yeah.
So yeah.
No, I get it. And in some places, it's the equivalent of being like John Smith, right? It's like, oh, it's a universal name. Everybody has it.
Yeah. Like if somebody, for instance, wants to add me on Facebook, the first thing I do is say, right, give me your phone because I'm going to have a hard time finding myself.
Just let's do it the other way. You tell me your credentials, and I'll go find you because that'll be faster.
I mean the other way around that. So yeah, I'll give you my phone, and you can put your name in. I went it the other way.
I mean, at the end of the day, that's basically what you're doing. Though, is you're looking them up instead of them trying to look you up because it's just easier and faster.
Exactly.
No, I get that.
Exactly.
Totally get
I mean, I've also done it a few times. Do you know when you have a group of people that you've maybe kind of just met recently? I mean, this happened to me at university, where you have this group of people you've just met, and there's one person that kind of hangs out with you, but not as much, so you kind of completely forget the name, and you feel really, really awkward. So, like, I mean, I was sitting. I mean, I remember when I was sitting in a big group one time, just thinking, "What's his name again? What the hell?" And I just decided to go up to the guy and go, "Right, this is do you have Facebook?" And he says, "Yep." So I said, "Right, just if you go and put your name in, I've got a really common name, so it's harder for me to find myself." So I found his name out by me just going up and saying, "Right, go and type your name into Facebook, and I'll get you added."
Go look me up, so I don't have to do it, and I get your name all at the same time. Perfect. Yeah. That's a nice way to get around that.
I didn't have to feel awkward asking him, He'd hang out with us a load of times, and I felt really bad.
Well, see, okay, to be fair, I was that guy growing up in high school. Like, I hung out with everybody, but nobody ever could seem to remember my name. They were like, oh, God, that he's the other guy. And that legitimately became my nickname in school growing up, was just he's the other guy.
The other guy.
You know who he is, right? The one that hangs out with you guys, the other guy. Really?
Oh, that's not the case now. Your 1,000 Twitch followers will tell you that. Everybody knows Nori.
I'm still just the other guy. He's fine.
Yeah.
I'm just the other guy. That's all.
Just
yeah. The
You're
amount
the
of times
sound
I get
guy.
people like, "Oh, Nori, right? Seaweed dude." No, no, no,
Oh,
no. There's a Y there, not an I.
ah, okay, yeah, I get it.
Yes, I get that one. I get that one an awful lot too.
I've
Which
also
I
had
was
the lookalike stuff. Like I used to get all sorts in high school. When I was younger.
right.
Um, people just thinking just because you have glasses that you look like somebody, and it's like, no, really, no, I don't see it.
I
And
don't. Yeah, I totally
one
get
of the
that.
one of the funnier ones was this was one obviously when I there were no glasses, and I was living in England at the time for 10 months. I
Hmm.
was on a placement down there from university, and um, so when I went up to the supporters club for my team, I went to watch the Celtic games. I follow Celtic in
Right.
Scotland here, and I went up to watch the games, and there was this guy told me that I looked like Bran Stark from Game of Thrones. And like everybody just started calling me Bran Stark every time I went up after that. It's like,
Ugh.
okay. I
Oh
guess I'm
yeah,
Bran Stark.
that's right. Like, oh, now I'm stuck with this one. Like, how do you get rid of things like that? Like, I don't want to
Yeah.
be known
No,
as
I know. I'm not too bothered by that one. That one's okay, but like, I've had some pretty bad ones when I was younger.
right.
You know.
Yo, Steamy, welcome in. Yes, it is Talk Tuesday. You are back around for one of those. There's still a thing. We took a little bit of we got a little bit sidetracked, but we're back. We're back at it and doing it again. Still doing it.
Aye, we're
So
here.
we're here. That's right. Uh, so okay, well, let's get you into your first one. See, we already started talking about it a little bit, and I kind of like, hey, stop that. I get first questions. Weeb does one, and it's still. Let's talk about your favorite fictional dragon. I think you said Spyro was what you had started out with.
Spyro. Just we need to go in the nostalgia option there for me. Played Spyro when I was a kid quite a lot. I never got very far. I wasn't very good at it back then, but I do have it on Steam, so I might get back into it and give it
Interesting.
another go just for nostalgia purposes. Uh, but yeah, I always like that. Other than that, it's got to have gone with maybe Shrek, say the Dragon and Shrek, because I watched it a lot when I was young.
Yeah, the
Um,
the the Lady Dragon and Shrek was pretty funny. I was
yeah.
always a big Smog fan.
Hmm.
From Tolkien and his books. Like I thought character
Uh-huh.
wise
Yeah.
for such a brief snippet of a dragon, like the conversation
Hmm.
that him and Bilbo had while in the treasure chamber, the dwarven
Yeah.
treasure chamber, was like absolutely fascinating. You can see that this is not like your typical fire breathing, I want gold, whatever evil dragon. I'm not saying he was a good dragon, but
Uh-huh.
there was a lot of like really raw intelligence behind.
Yeah, like character development and stuff like that.
Hmm.
As well behind it. No, I don't really know. That was kind of a funny question for me because you'd probably been expecting something from like, Lord of the Rings or, Game of Thrones or something like that, but I don't really know it much
Huh?
about that stuff
No, no, no.
myself.
See,
So
there's
that was
that's the
my
kind of
only
beauty of
real
this sort of thing, right? Well,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
the thing, right? There's no wrong answer here.
No,
It's your
exactly.
answer.
I was just saying that was like I know what you'd have been expecting, but it's not it's not something I know a lot about myself.
I was sitting there, I'm
But yeah,
like, do
we're
I
going
have
Spiral.
Spyro? It is. I think
Spiral.
there was. Hang on, let me scroll back up here because I think they were like, you started talking about it, and they had. Yeah, okay. It's the next. It's actually the next question on the list. They want to know which Spyro was your favorite.
Which Spiral was my favorite? I only really played the first one, to be fair. It was just a nostalgia thing when I was young, so I'd have to go with the first one. I played a lot more like different. It was a lot of different things that I played when I was young. I played a bit more Sonic stuff. I played. Oh, PS1, you're going back now. uh, the Alien trilogy. And that used to terrify me when I was a kid. The face huggers were terrifying. They were awful.
Facehuggers were
They're
just
actually they're
were
terrifying in
brutal.
Alien Isolation as well. My God. They're actually quite buggy on Alien Isolation. I noticed they'd
I
kind of
remembered
disappear.
my first time seeing a face hugger on the actual movie, watching it
Uh-huh.
in Aliens the movie, and
Oh yeah.
yeah, that
Uh,
was a little fear inducing.
I watched Romulus coming back from Australia on the plane.
Mm-hmm.
Um, which I would much rather have watched it on the big screen, but you know, needs must.
Right.
But it was a decent movie. It was pretty fun to watch.
Nice.
And pass the time as well. Big long flight from Australia. As you can see from that, I do like to travel. I'm a massive travel
I was gonna
fanatic.
say that's a bit of a trip for you from Scotland to Australia. That was a
Yeah, that
long
was
flight.
last year. That was just over a year ago now, or yeah, just under a year ago, sorry. November. I went from November to December. I've got relatives over there, Australian relatives, so they
Nice.
went across and we met them. They've met them before. They've come across here, but we stayed with them and stuff.
How
So
did you
it's been
survive
good.
the spiders? I've got to know.
Barely saw any of them, to be fair. Um,
Really? I
and
figured
and
as big
Mel,
as those things are, like they're their own like small dogs or whatnot out there.
well, well, we were staying in Melbourne, like in the city, so you don't really see them as much there. Um,
That'll do
and
it.
and yeah, so the only time we ever actually saw one was when we went out to meet my cousin who does a fishing like tournament thing.
Hmm.
And we went out to this kind of bit out in the sticks a wee bit, um, as we kind of fishing village, and we stayed in this Airbnb place. And there was a wee baby huntsman in there. Not very. It's bigger than like a UK house spider, but not still not big when you think about a huntsman. You know, I would have been
Right.
quite a bit even more. I mean, to be fair, what I've actually heard of huntsmen, I'm not that scared of them because they don't seem to be, you know, that harmful to humans. Um, but if you see the smaller spiders, I'd be kind of scared because the smaller ones are usually the worst over
Well,
there.
it's it's actually interesting. I think just in nature in general, the smaller a creature is, especially if it's venomous, the more potent the venom tends to be.
Yeah, yeah.
It's more concentrated.
Yeah,
Um,
that is quite fascinating as well. See when like you get these YouTube videos, and you got like these guys taking stings from some of the worst, like most venomous creatures, and you're like,
mhm.
what are you doing? You're going to really hurt yourself. But
Yeah.
like, oh God. But it's actually kind of fascinating to see how this thing like reacts in the human skin. Um, but yeah, at the same time, kind of you don't really want to watch it. You're like, oh no.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I
you don't
always
want
kind
that
of
to happen
have
to yourself.
questions about people and whether or not they're actually all together there in their head when they're like, oh yeah, check
Uh-huh.
this thing out. This thing's horrendously deadly. It'll kill you in 2 seconds. Why are you touching it then? Like, what do you? What's wrong in your head that you think this is a good idea all of a sudden?
Uh-huh.
If you're
Yep.
telling me this is bad and you want to still play with it,
Oh,
um,
absolutely.
Houston, we
Something,
have
something, no.
some problems.
Yeah. Something not quite right.
Mm, I'm not trying to say that you're crazy or anything,
Uh-huh.
but the shoe fits.
Then yeah, maybe a wee bit.
Yeah, you may be just a little bit off your rocker, just a little bit. Do us a favor and step back away from the deadly thing so it doesn't kill you. Um,
What doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Yeah, no, no, no. I don't know who coined that particular phrase, but no, 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 no. That would definitely not
Yeah.
be on my top 10 things of. Oh yes, I totally believe that one. Tell it to me again.
Uh,
No, it's fine. It's fine. But I mean, these are like it's always fascinating. I like going to new places. I like visiting new areas. I like meeting new people. I like going
mhm.
to new places. I always find it fascinating because you never know
Yeah,
what
absolutely.
you're getting into, right?
Hmm. So I'm gonna. I know that there's a lot of people from the States. I've got a lot of friends
Mm-hmm.
across there. Um, that haven't actually, because the US is such a big country. They don't really do a lot of traveling away from that. So um,
Yeah, you don't get out into
yeah,
the rest of the globe.
yeah, when you talk to them, they'll be quite fascinated by how many places you've been and stuff. But like, it's totally understandable because the US is a massive country with like all these different cultures, you know.
Oh
So
yeah.
like you are kind of seeing those cultures still alive through like generations. Um, but yeah, it's always quite good to go across. I do enjoy that. I've been across to the US 4 times. Um, I've been to Orlando. I was there with my family. That was the first time. I've visited friends in Ohio. I've visited friends in Washington, the state of Washington.
Hi,
And
Jillian. Welcome in.
hello, Gillian. Yeah, I've also been to LA, Los Angeles.
Ooh,
That was a
I've
a
not
good week trip. I went there myself.
I've not been to Los Angeles just yet. Yo,
Yeah,
Gladius, welcome in.
it was a
Um,
good trip. I enjoyed it a lot. Met a lot of good people. A hostel I was in a kind of shared room, which wasn't wasn't ideal, but it was fun. Met a lot of people through that, different countries and stuff. Um,
well, sometimes it just is what it
it's
is. I mean,
fancy.
fancy.
Yeah, so I also the other traveling that I do is I like to follow the Scotland national football team around Europe.
Right.
Um, most recently I was across in Denmark following them. Uh, and that, yeah, a lot of fun. Been all over Europe doing that. Um, I've been to some pretty surprising. Thank you, Gillian. That's kind of you. I've been to some pretty surprising countries that you probably wouldn't have thought. Back in 2019, Scotland played against Russia, so we went to Moscow. Um, I've been to Albania. I've been to Lithuania. Just I wouldn't really have thought about going to these countries, if it wasn't for following the Scotland national team.
Now,
I
I've
haven't
always
been
imagined.
to
Go
Hungary,
ahead.
Gillian. But I've kind of landed there in the way to Georgia, which is just underneath Russia. That's another surprising one. My brother has been there. My big brother's been to Budapest. Um,
Fascinating.
But I would love to go. Yeah, I always like to go anywhere and see what it's all like. Slovenia is one that I'd like to try as well. Try your bacon. I will do. I actually knew a guy when I lived in England. He was half Hungarian, and there was one night where he made us a really good goulash. It was fantastic. Oh, I still remember that to this day. It was way back in 2019.
Good food sticks around though. I mean,
Yeah,
when you
yeah,
treat something
absolutely.
good, it just sticks with you.
Oh, that was so good. We actually sat around and they were kind of like music students and stuff, and
Hmm.
they had a kind of record player. So we sat around listening to a Rush LP. So we had Rush going in the background while we were eating this goulash, and um,
All right, y'all heard it.
having a
Jillian's
good old
cooking.
drink.
Let's go. We're all going to East Midlands. Jillian's cooking.
I'll come on down tomorrow.
I find it okay. So for there's a couple of things, right? So one of the things that I want, based on so far, I'm trying to structure my words together so I don't sound like a complete ass and an American. Which unfortunately we have a tendency to do. Like we tend to open mouth, insert our foot all the way up to our knees. Very easy. Uh, that being said, like I think a lot of Americans you don't see them out in the global space because it's not as easy for us to leave America as it is. I think it is for for you guys out there in like Scotland, England, that sort of thing. Like getting around to the different European countries is a fairly like, it's just a thing that happens. Like you guys just do it all. It's like for you going and visiting England is like would be the same for me trying to drive from South Carolina to Atlanta. You just kind of just go. It's fine. They're not going to give you a hard time at the borders getting across. However, as an American trying to go from America over to England or something like, I got to take a plane flight, then I have to go through customs, and then we kind of get scrutinized going through there because we're Americans and we're dumb anyways, and so yeah.
We get the same in the States. That's a given. The only time that that's not happened was because I made a very funny mistake. So I got to Washington. I was visiting my friend there. Of course, she wasn't there to pick me up yet because she wasn't expecting me to go through the security and stuff so quickly.
Right.
But what had happened was thank you again, Jillian.
Smooches, Jillian. Thank you.
Sally, hello.
Hello, darling.
Yeah, so this was a funny story. So I got into the airport at Seattle, Tacoma Airport, and so I'm trying to catch my words here. I'm speaking too fast for my brain here at
You're
the
fine.
moment. So
Take all the time you need.
Land in Washington, and I go up to where the kind of queue would be for getting to the security, but there's nobody at this queue, and I'm like, what's going on here? Walking up, and I thought maybe like we were like just in this maybe a wee gap between where it was really busy and then suddenly it wasn't for a while and we were just that first
Right.
week plane in, but before that, because that can happen. But I got up there and my passport didn't like work on the thing, on the wee scanner. So this guy comes up to me and he's like, "Hey, can I help you? Like, what's going on?" I says, "I don't know if this is the line I'm meant to be in." And he says, "Well, are you a global traveler?" And I was like, "Well, of course I don't know what that is." And I said, "Well, apparently not." So actually a global traveler. So this was like, it does say that on it, but I think I've seen that and thought, well, yeah, I've traveled around the globe, but it's actually like a subscription thing where people pay $100 a year to get through quicker. And the guy
That's some
just let
kind
me
of
through anyway.
express queuing scheme or something.
Yeah. Yeah, but the guy just let me through anyway because it was quiet, so yeah, I got through security in about 20 minutes, and
Nice.
definitely happy with that. But then I phoned up my friend and said, "You never guess what's just happened." She's like, "Look, we haven't even left the house yet."
Oh, and
She
trying
just
to get
wasn't
this,
expecting.
trying to get to SeaTac is painful.
Yeah, she's about, I think, an hour and 40 minutes away from there.
Yeah.
But I got through there quite quickly. It was nice.
You're not wrong, Green Chick. Just trying to get through security in general at SeaTac is just painful.
Well, I
At
wouldn't
the
know because I had a great time.
no, you apparently got the royal treatment. Glocky shows up and everyone, oh, man's famous. Here, let's let him through. He's a global traveler, don't you know? Just let him right on through. He'd be fine. That's the famous Glocky Gaming, don't you know?
Exactly.
It's,
That's the only just started streaming at that point, so
you know,
they knew I was an up and comer.
just walk in there. Just tell them, hey, look, I'm a famous content creator. I'm Glocky Gaming, don't you know? And they'll let you right on through. They're fine. They'll
Exactly.
be like,
Yeah,
oh, content creator, national treasure. Absolutely. Come on in. Come on
absolutely.
in. We're
Not a
happy to see
problem.
you. It's just Kaylin Tay. Kay, how's it going?
The
Welcome
one
in.
thing, the
Welcome
one
in.
thing I don't appreciate
Mm-hmm.
when you go is like you do hear people like they'll hear your accent, and like I've actually heard some like sometimes you'll hear like somebody not really knowing your accent, and they'll go, do you speak English?" And I'm like, "I'm literally speaking English to you right now." Like you just didn't, yeah, like
Excuse me.
you
Do you
just,
speak English?
uh-huh.
See, I enjoy people like that.
Hmm.
Because I will be in I have been in a few airports and whatnot, especially going like back home to Puerto Rico. So I'll sit there and start talking with
Yeah,
some of the people around there. And so you're speaking Puerto Rican, you're speaking Spanish, and that's fine. That's a different language, but they come up to you like, excuse me, do you speak English? Never mind. Everybody else around is talking in Spanish, and you're like, yep, no, 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 and you're talking in 100% English. And I like to look
yeah.
at them. I'm like, ¿qué? Ah, perdón, perdón.
That
No habla inglés.
that
Ah,
would be really useful actually. I should learn Scots Gaelic and just mess with people like that.
exactly. You just when you're speaking English, they come up and ask you a stupid. I'm a firm believer in ask a stupid question, get a stupid answer. So if you're going to come up to me while I'm speaking English and ask me if I speak English, I'm going to find
Mhm.
whatever language is currently being spoken around me, and that's the one I'm going to respond back to you. Oh, so sorry. No, no, I don't speak that. Typical troll.
Yep.
Look. Admit it, cousin. You would do the same thing. I mean, come up and that you get one of your students. Hey, teach. Do you speak teacherese? Teacherese, like that isn't actually even a thing.
Yeah, I mean it is quite frustrating sometimes though to be on the end of that, like
It can be.
um like especially when I was living in England and um there was one guy I remember this because you always remember these kind of experiences. You're like, "You
Mm-hmm.
dick," that's just what how it is because like you are clearly speaking to them in that language, and
Right.
they do understand the accent, but like there's one word that they just keep on repeating in the way that they're saying that you've said it, like as if they're taking a piss out of you. And like this guy, all I was asking for was where's the bin,
Yeah.
where's where's the trash as you would call it in the States. But
I promise you can say Ben. I
all
know exactly what you're talking
all
about.
I all I said to the guy was bin, and he just kept on going like, "What? You what?" And I'm like, "The bin." And he said, "The bin." I'm like, "No, the bin for my rubbish." And it's like, yeah, you can just feel like bloody rattling the guy, like, the bin, where
You're
is it?
just like, yeah. Okay. Now you're just being stupid. Let me hold still.
Yeah.
Let me just clap you right around your ear for a second. The Ben, you moron. Yes, no, I totally get that.
uh,
It's
yeah, I
always one of
mean,
those you're like, how it's not like English. But to be fair, and I say this because I know a lot of English speakers,
mhm,
and they struggle hard with dialects.
uh,
And there is probably just as many dialects of English just in the
mhm,
Americas. Like from the southern dialect to the northern, you have the Appalachians, you have the hillbillies. You like we have just in one swath of the country. There's probably 70 or 80 different dialects of English, where it all sounds like English, but not really.
Hmm.
They use words slightly different.
No, that's absolutely true. There's quite a fair amount here that I mean, we kind of have a few kind of I guess languages, themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Really, we've got the Scots language, and if you need an example of that, you just go and you can go online and look up Robert Burns. He's the kind of Scotland's national poet. We celebrate Burns Night every year, where we have haggis, neeps, and tatties for our dinner, and yeah, you just kind of do the old traditional thing. Um, and if you need me to explain what haggis, neeps, and tatties is, I can do that.
I believe it or not, I actually know what haggis is. The
Yeah,
nips and ties, not quite so much, but I
no,
know what haggis
neeps
is.
neeps is just another word for turnip. So we'd have
Okay,
that kind of mashed with this dish, and tatties is potato. So
okay,
we'd have that again mashed with this.
got it.
Um,
I'm
yeah,
completely clued in now.
but
I
yeah,
have learned something new.
if you want to see the Scots language, the probably the best place to go would be like people like Robert Burns and his poems. He was very long time ago he was alive, but yeah, we still celebrate him to this day in
Hmm.
Scotland. Uh, but yeah, you probably won't understand a word of it. Even I have to look at context sometimes with that because it's very like kind of old Scots.
Well, but most languages that aren't used on the regular, it becomes one of
Yeah.
those things that you have to struggle a little bit to remember. Um,
Well, I mean, you got to think about how when Scotland were originally colonized and stuff like that, we did get like
mhm.
the treatment of like our languages being banned and having to be kind of forced to speak English and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, that was one of the things that the British Empire had a habit of doing, of course. But yeah, that was the only now actually as our language is starting to come back a wee bit. Um, the schools are starting to teach them again, which is nice. Lovely to see our culture coming. It's always been there, but it's lovely to see bits of our culture coming back that was originally banned
Right.
at that point. Um, and we could have probably brought it back a lot sooner, but they didn't. So
Yeah, well, I mean, there's reasons for a lot of things, but
yeah, yeah.
um, now, uh, Stevie would like to know about what's the worst game you've ever played.
Oof.
It's
I
always
have
like
one in.
these questions are always like the really hard ones because you're like,
I
worst.
actually have one quite quickly in mind.
Mm-hmm.
Mainly because on PlayStation, I do like to like kind of trophy hunt on PlayStation. So I
Mm-hmm.
like to try and get the platinums and stuff. Um, I've done that. I've not done it for a while, but I used to do it a lot. And probably the most boring one I've ever done was a game called Sherlock Holmes Crimes and Punishments. Uh,
I
now
know that game.
it was extremely boring. It was terrible. And I thought, right, you know what? As an easy platinum, it looks so simple to platinum it, but the loading screens as well were awful. Everything just took forever to load,
Yes.
and just, it was terrible. And but I did get the platinum eventually. It was just the worst experience of my life.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
you have to have some staying power to get through that game. I remember
yeah.
not even. I remember giving up on that game and never even finishing like the initial playthrough of it. I'm like, this is so no. I'm just done.
Yeah,
Just
I was not a fan.
nope.
But I just kind of sometimes get very determined and I just go for it
Now,
anyway.
do you find that you will play a bad game just to finish it off because you have a need for it? Is that or is that just one of those like I'm not gonna? Like this is the freaking game. It's not going to put me down. It's not going to beat me. And so you're just being stubborn about finishing up. Like
At
you have
that
a
time, at that time, I was just wanting the platinum. Like I was laser focused on getting the platinum. So, like I've got what 32 platinums in PlayStation, or something through doing that.
right,
A lot of them are quite easy, like kind of Life is Strange are quite easy platinums to get, and you've got games like the Telltale games. They're very straightforward. It's like literally finish the game and you've got your platinum, and you know, most of the
right.
time. Um, but yeah, there are ones where that was the only one that was so slow that I felt like giving up many times. But I just thought, you know what? It's an easy platinum. If it's bad and it's easy, I'll do it. Um, but like I mean, I've even platinum Goat Simulator. Just just random games, just why not? Um, Platinum Goat Simulator. I did GTA 5. That was a long time that one took. Uh, but
Yeah. Dedication. Exactly, right, Squirrel? Dedication. Like, I did it. So I never
yeah.
have to do it again.
Hello, Winter. How are you?
Welcome in. Welcome in. But okay, so at what point, like, what do you, when you're sitting down to play a game,
Mhm.
where's the point where you're like, okay, no, this either the game is too much or I have now hit a point where I'm just stubborn and I'm going to finish it anyways, and I'll be damned if this thing's going to get the better of me. Like, what are the points where you would draw that line at? Like, where do you give up?
Guess it would really depend on the game. I don't like. That's quite a hard question, actually. um, I know there was one that I definitely gave up on right back at the start of like PS4,
Mm-hmm.
and it was Thief. I did
Oh, I
not
remember
enjoy
that
that
one.
game.
Really?
Hmm
Oh, I had such a good time with Thief. That's interesting.
yeah, I remember that came out, and I don't know what it was about it, but I just did not enjoy it. There was something about it that I just couldn't, you know.
Fair.
Um, there are sometimes games where I've ruined it for myself. I've completely spoiled it for myself by playing it too high of a difficulty. and, and then I just get bored and I've not played it since. And there's one that I really want to play that is like that, and that is The Last of Us. I started on quite a high difficulty, thinking that well it'll be fine, and then it was not fine. So, uh, and I just didn't go back to it, and I really should because it's right up my street. It's the type of thing that I would play. So in terms of like story and stuff like that.
Now, do you normally play games at a higher difficulty?
Sometimes, kind of again, it just depends on the game. I know there's some of them that are quite straightforward, even at a higher
Right.
difficulty. I mean, the Spider-Man games weren't too bad for that, like the ones that came out from PS4 onwards, um, weren't too bad. And then, of
Right.
course, they had like, New Game Plus, which, of course, you had to do for the Platinum. Um, Again, kind of easy Platinums. You didn't have to do a high difficulty if you didn't want to, really straightforward. Um, But yeah, like again, it just depends on the game. If it is a wee bit too hard, of course, I'll be stubborn about it. I'll be very stubborn about it, and I'll keep going and going. Because I do like to try and get good at the game as well. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I'll tell you I couldn't tell you how many hours I've spent recently trying to get good at like weirdly good at golf with your friends. I'm sitting here trying to achievement hunt that on Steam.
Look. We do some golf with your friends around here, and I might have more hours in that game than I probably right should, but I don't know that I've ever decided I was going to go achievement hunting in that game.
There's some of the courses are ridiculous, and there's times where it does this really buggy thing where the ball will just bounce out like it'll be as if it's bounced off a hard surface when it's not. It's bounced off
Mm-hmm.
the grass, and it just kind of stops the ball dead and ruins your
Yep.
chance at like a hole in one or any whatever score you're wanting to get there.
Well,
uh,
we tend to I tend to play that one, but we only play like the community maps. So like that
yeah.
happens all the time.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's not like a once in a while thing. That's an all the time sort of thing.
Yeah. Well, right now the hardest achievements are the power and under ones, the ones that you have to get power and under. The other ones are all like play a whole game on dunk, play a whole game on hockey.
Hmm.
It's not hard to do those ones. You just need to
No, no, no.
play the courses again on a different mode. But like
Hey, KN,
um,
welcome in.
hello, Kian. Um, but yeah, like, I recently was quite proud of myself because I managed to get power and under on Haunted and on Oasis, and those two are kind of ridiculous maps. So I was pretty happy that I got
Haunted
that.
and oh, right. It's
Yeah,
like
you have to kind of know the trick shots and stuff. That's the
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but I mean that's just part of playing it over and over again, right? Like the more you play
Yeah.
a game, the better off you get at it. And I would imagine if you're achievement hunting, then you end up making several trips through the game, not just like one or
Oh
two.
yeah. Yeah, there's different courses. You kind of know early on if you're having a bit of bad luck and you're like, yeah, right, okay, I'll start this again. Um, but it's at that point it's not really a rage quit. It's more just me going, right, you know what, let's start it again. Try it, start over. We can do it next time.
Right? It's like
Um,
okay, no, I'm just the golf gods are not with me today. That's fine. I'm gonna walk away.
yeah, yeah. I'm not really one to like really full on rage. I mean, when I was younger, I used to be. When I was we all we were all kids once.
Well,
um,
yeah.
it's just that like it's just
Once some of us
not
haven't even
really.
grown up yet. Are you kidding?
Uh, I mean, I used to be quite bad at it with losing and stuff like that. It took me a wee
Right.
while to kind of figure that out. Again, like for me, like as somebody that's got dyspraxia, um, having a learning disability doesn't really help when you're trying to process things like that. Especially when you've got my brother used to score against me at FIFA, and then he would
Mm-hmm.
gloat in my face. So,
Oh, rude,
so I
rude.
used to get really angry at him because I didn't know why he was doing that.
Right.
you know. And I mean, I went as far as like throwing the controller at him and stuff like that. like I was pretty bad for losing, and it took me a long time to kind of get over that. Um, but
Well,
yeah,
but I
eventually
mean,
you do,
it's
and
sore winners is always sore winners always makes getting adjusted to certain things much harder than it needs to be.
yeah, yeah, definitely, um, definitely. But
But
yeah, I don't really rage much these days. You know, you would see that when I play games like Dead by Daylight, and that's kind of a game where there is a lot of rage that happens. There's a lot of quite toxic stuff that happens as well. Um,
I people say this. I've never played the game.
yeah, okay. Well, the thing is, I don't really experience it much on my own end. Like
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of it, especially if you're a streamer, a lot of it can come down a bit to your own demeanor and how you react to things and
Yeah.
how you respond to things. It depends on how much the person's just kind of wanting to be a bit of an ass. But I'll give you an example because like recently we were playing,
Mm-hmm.
and we were just chatting after the game, and the killer had kind of done a lot of stuff in the game and like kind of smacked us on hook when he hooked us and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
But I don't care about that stuff. That's fine. Do what you want to do. Um, and so then this guy comes into my chat after it, and he started giving all this, easy, and all that kind of stuff. Slammed. He basically just trying to kind of,
Yeah. Trying to work
get
your
a rise
nerve.
out of me.
Yep.
And I just went like that to the guy. I said, you know what, mate? GG, well done, you won. But there's absolutely no need to be like that in my chat. we're all just having a good time, having a laugh, and we're chilling. So,
Mhm.
and then my pal was a mod, and she banned him, or she tamed him out anyway.
It's like,
um,
yeah, 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 yeah.
but then, like, yeah, they actually came back after that, and they like apologized for being that way, and they actually gave me a wee follow. So, you
Nice.
know, it it kind of
Always
again
good.
comes across with like how you present yourself and your demeanor, and if you kind of have that response, then you're going to be fine, really. Yeah, yeah, it was a nice turnaround, Squirrel. It was good.
It's
Now,
it's
the
Go ahead.
sorry, I just
No,
remember
no.
something in the way.
No, go,
So,
go, 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 go.
just my friends used to, because I'm Scottish, of course.
Mhm.
They used to get me to say that word quite a lot, squirrel. So, I just triggered a memory there that they kept telling me to say squirrel.
Squirrel! Don't worry, Squirrel. If you want, we'll get a voice recording of him saying squirrel for you, okay? It'll be fine.
Uh-huh.
Squirrel. Squirrel. It's fine. It's fine. Uh, but no. Memories are good, right? Like memories are the things that you really kind of want to build on, right? They
An
help.
okay, and who knew, eh? Glocky's Scottish, what?
Who knew? Who knew? I was so shocked that the first time I heard Glocky when he got on for tonight's stream, I was like, "Oh my word, you're Scottish." Whatever will I do? It's fine. It's fine, right?
Yeah, we're all good. Hi, what were we saying there? Sorry, totally losing track here.
No, that happens around here. Losing
Yeah,
track is easy to
I
do.
was you were speaking about memories, weren't you? It was always good to have.
Uh, I had a point for that, and then I lost track of that point, so we'll just ignore it anyway.
Okay,
uh, but yeah, I mean,
kind of
like
cool
for
that.
me, we'll circle back around to the question that Simi had about worst games, right? So, like to me, a game is bad when I just like I have certain expectation in game mechanics when I play a game, right?
Hmm.
So, like if I'm playing a turn-based RPG, I know I'm playing a turn-based RPG. That doesn't
Right.
phase me any. One of the things that frustrated me was in like Final Fantasy, in the newer version of Final Fantasy, and I know why they were trying to do it. They were trying to speed up combat. They were trying to make the game flow better. But they started introducing the individual timers for everybody. And so you could have real
Okay.
time combat, right? So like different characters would go
Now,
off, and you could do
which
something for them depending on their initiative values and everything else. And then you would have the monsters that would slide in there. And it always seemed like you almost inevitably ended up with one of your characters would start at the front of the battle, and that was usually the guy who was the fastest but was also the weakest, so he was basically not doing anything. And then everybody else was always at the tail end, and the monsters were always right in the middle. So that would be like, quick guy, stab with little dagger, 1 point of damage. Yay, good job. We're so happy for you. And then the big guys would come and slam the rest of the party. And you're left with the speedy guy running around throwing potions at people, trying to heal them back up so that you can get back into the fight. And it just becomes this repetitive cycle. And it used to drive me nuts.
yeah. I mean, which Final Fantasy is that you're talking about?
Um,
Is it a remake one, or is it the
no, no,
older
no.
one?
That's what was it, like 10, 8, 8 or 9, something like
Because
that. It
I've
was
got
after
a
7.
streaming, I guess, streaming friend. I actually met her quite a long time ago now. Jeez, been doing maybe about 2 years now, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Long time. But uh, she, does the very impressive thing of speed running Dark Souls games.
Right.
She also speed runs Final Fantasy games. Um, and yeah, like I never really really played any of those games, but watching them, watching the speed runs and stuff like that is really like
That was fascinating.
chill. It's fascinating, but also really quite chill. And it was great to have on in the background while I was working and stuff.
Hmm.
Um, because again, I didn't really know what was going on in the game, but even the music was always quite nice to hear. Just in terms of like it being kind of an older game as well, and
Right.
uh, yeah. But it was. This is really, I find it quite impressive that somebody would go and, speed run a Dark Souls game and stuff like that. That's pretty intense. I feel like you'd have an awful lot of hours at that before.
Well, you have to have some fair. Well, so like there was a streamer friend of mine, Moments of Your Time, and he was pretty much an Elden Ring player. The first time I met them, that
Hmm.
was like the majority of things, and so they did like all the different Elden Ring challenges, and then he was making up challenges for himself as he was going through it, and the guy had well over like 2 or 3 thousand hours into the game. You're
Right.
like, okay, you have played this thing to death. Like you got with your
Yeah.
initial investment on that game and then some, and holy cow,
Uh-huh. I mean,
why?
that alone though is great. When you get a game and you can put that many hours in, like
Oh yeah,
it's great because you've obviously bought this game, you really enjoy it, and again, like you said, that's you've put your initial investment, you've got your initial investment in it back, and then some. Um, it's always great to have that.
it is.
When you have a big passion for gaming and stuff. For me, one of the things that I really don't like, right, is we're talking about worse games.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Now, I was a massive, as I've mentioned before, FIFA and stuff. I used to be massive on like playing FIFA. If if that was still the case today, I'd probably be streaming FIFA quite a bit too. You know,
Right.
I was a big FIFA gamer, and I was actually pretty good at it too. Um, but the new ones are absolutely terrible. I'm not a fan of them at all. Like. A lot of people will say quite a lot about, oh, it's the same game every year. It's not. There are a lot of different like features and stuff like that. That if you play it a lot, on the face of it, if you're looking at FIFA every year, you see the same thing. It's a football game where they're kicking the ball about.
Mm-hmm.
But there are features that change and make it either better or worse depending on like what it is they've changed. If it's a defensive thing,
Right.
um, and for for the last couple of years, they've added this, like the last few years anyway, they've added this kind of more tactical defensive system that it's awful because a lot of the time what I'll see is it doesn't matter what tactic I set or what I do, uh, their striker runs through and my defense just parts like the Red Sea. you know, that's really how I see it. Like the whole kind of Moses part in the Red Sea thing. The whole defense just splits in half, and they're like, "Oh, well, go on then, go and score, great." um,
Yeah, I have a problem with, and when I say problem, I'm not opposed or against. Right? Don't take that
mhm.
as when I say I have a problem. I'm just not a big sports game player.
Yeah,
Mostly because I struggle to find any kind of real enjoyment out of actually watching the sports games that they're
uh-huh.
they're supposed to be about. Right? So like
Yeah,
people
yeah,
who play football, um, and football's a fairly big sports thing
uh-huh.
across the water. I'm just for me, I'm like,
Yeah,
I
I mean
don't get it
that's
as
fair.
invested in it. But
Yeah, I mean
that's the
that's exactly it. Like I mean I've kind of I've watched some NFL games. I've watched the Super
mhm.
Bowl quite a bit. Like I do understand a lot of the rules of the NFL, like American football. Um,
Oh,
but
I don't even want to get started
again,
on American football. It just
it's just
I have even less for that one.
it's just like for me, I think it's just a bit too slow. Like the game progresses too slow for my liking. Um, You know, I think on yeah, on the face of it, I could enjoy it a bit more if there wasn't just constant like commercial breaks and stuff.
Oh,
um,
that's
you
what I
know,
always assumed that that sports games were the commercial breaks. Like you
no,
watch the sports game
they don't
for
do
the
that here.
commercial.
Well, they don't do that here. So,
Mhm.
you know, the only real like ad break you get is at halftime in our football. I mean, there's one thing I would love to do when I go across to Vancouver is, I mean, I don't know the rules of ice hockey, but I'd love to see a game just for the atmosphere and stuff. I think it'd be great,
Oh,
you know.
well,
Um,
you'll definitely be able to see some of that there.
yeah, yeah, I
I
would like to go and do that when I'm there.
I used to play Dungeons and Dragons online, which was an old game with the center for the what is it, St. Louis? I
Hmm.
think they're St. Louis Blue Jays. I think they're Blue Jays. I have to go
Right.
look this up now. Um, well, they were the hockey team out of St. Louis. A guy's name was Doug Waite, and we sat
Okay.
around when we played games whenever he um,
Uh-huh.
wasn't playing. I'm trying to remember if it was. I know it was St. Louis because we at one point in time we were talking about St. Louis Blues. That's what they're called. Yeah, St. Louis Blues. Like
Right.
I
I
know.
don't know any teams. I just know I'd like to go and see a game. I think it'd be good fun. We do have an
Oh
ice
yeah,
hockey team here, but I don't think it's the same, you know. Atmosphere wise, I
sure.
doubt it's the same because they're
Uh,
not really like a huge team.
well, it's like for us, the football is not really like out in certain parts of the middle of the country. You'll see a lot of fan base around football.
Yeah,
Um, but towards towards the edges, no, that's you're going to see a lot more people playing American football and or basketball. Basketball's another one, though.
yeah,
The
no,
only thing I enjoy
that's
about
great.
watching basketball is watching the Harlem Globetrotters get out there and do. If you're doing comedy, I'm so on board for that. I will watch that all day long and laugh hysterically at it. Um,
Yeah, for basketball, one thing that you'd notice if you know you get out to places like
mhm,
Slovakia, Lithuania, it's really big there. You know,
right.
um, like in Lithuania, the main sport is basketball. They were. I remember like we got there and they were not like there was a guy we was talking to and he just was not happy because his Lithuania's national basketball team had lost to Slovakia like the weekend before, and he
Oof.
was just telling us about it all and how raging he was and stuff. And I mean, for me, like it's no, I mean, I understand as somebody that likes, you know, a sport kind of similar to it, like you know, competitive sports.
Mhm.
Um, is similar to it, but you know, basketball itself is not something really that I would particularly watch. Um, According to most Americans, football is the only sport that exists. And the funny thing is, like a lot of people, I've seen them say that like it's kind of funny that they call the winners of the Super Bowl the world champions when they're the only country that do the Super Bowl.
Okay, we're gonna do this real quick. I am going to get so much flack for this, but I just I
Mhm.
don't. It's fine. It'll be all right. I will survive from it. Um, they call American football football, and then they call what Americans call soccer football. Right? We have two different footballs. Of the two, your football or soccer for us is the more appropriate named football. The American football should just be handball with a little bit of kicking.
I prefer to go with hand egg. For me, a
But
ball is a
it's
round
actually
shape.
what is that? It's not. What is the name
I
of that
know rugby
one?
balls as well are shaped like
Rugby.
that too, but
Yeah, I would almost class it more rugby. I would almost call it more of a rugby game.
yeah,
Rugby
it's
with
probably
play nice
taken.
rules is what it
It's
feels like.
yeah. It's probably taken a wee bit from. I mean, I've heard a lot of stories, Kane, about why it's called that. One of them was that the ball is a foot long, so they call it football. That's one of the ones I've heard. A foot in length is why they call it, but I don't know how true that is. Um,
I have no idea.
but yeah, so uh, I think before football was football, like the way football is now, it used to be a game that was a wee bit more like rugby. You know, it was a bit more similar to that. I don't know if the ball was different or whatever. Um, but Scotland, it was kind of Scotland that kind of changed the rules and did it more the way we see it today. Because association football, the way England had it was a lot different. So what soccer came from, I think, was very different
Well,
to what
so
it is
the
today.
what's really fun is that the word soccer actually comes like we got the word
From
that
association football, yeah.
yeah, because it started over in Europe. Like we
Yeah.
inherited the word from you guys. And
hmm
then over there, you guys decided to go back to calling it football, and we continued to call it soccer.
It's probably because the rules were so much different to what it used to be back then. We've just called it football, and it's kind of a different sport when you think about it, you know.
I
Um,
will have to take your
but I
word
mean,
on that.
I mean, I've got quite a lot of you know, just in terms of how Scottish football has been over the past, well, the funny thing is, when it started off here, like when like league systems started um happening. Uh, the kind of teams that were doing really well at the time back in the late 1800s were actually my local teams. Like there was about three or four different teams winning cups and stuff
Hmm.
like that. One of them won the league, and like nowadays they're all junior teams. The team that had won the league that one time uh, are in League Two, so they're in like the third tier of our kind of pyramid of leagues.
Right.
So it's quite, it's just quite weird how quickly that all just changed. And um, but Glasgow's a big place. It's the teams from there were always going to get a bigger following anyway. Eventually, that was a thing.
Yeah, totally was a
But
thing.
it's just interesting how things change like that. Um,
Well, it's like trying to follow along with languages, right? It's
mhm.
fascinating to watch the ebb and flow of a culture, of a society, and you can track it
Yeah,
all really easily by just tracking the words that are used in regular speech.
yeah.
Just regular speech patterns alone will adjust you to whatever it is that what the different cultures find important and how they talk. Like I a good example of this is like I am inner island Puerto Rican, and so our Spanish uh as I've had many people tell me, it sounds like I'm talking with rocks in my mouth when I speak Spanish.
Oh, okay.
Well, we tend to be a little bit more as I like to think of it, we chew on our words a little bit more.
Mm-hmm. I know that there's often a lot of like like the people from the origin country, that from of that language really. And it's quite weird how because you see a lot of them just kind of nitpicking and taking the piss out of people that are from that they're from these countries that also speak that language, but they just speak it a bit
Right.
differently. So they're like, yeah, you're not speaking it right. It's like, well, wait, what way is right, really? Like, it's how they grew up with it.
But yeah, it's there is that. There's like,
That's
okay, why
yeah,
is my way is so much more wrong than your way? Like that doesn't
yeah.
make a lot of sense.
And that's the thing is languages do evolve in a big way over time.
Yeah.
And they evolve in different ways depending on where you are as well.
Where you
Um,
are, who you're talking
so
to.
yeah,
Like languages is probably one of my favorite things to watch evolve over time.
hmm
Just because of you can just see the impact. Even today, right? There's definitely in just like generational languages, there are different
yeah.
words in use, which is another fascinating thing to watch.
Yeah, I mean,
Is
you even see in a lot of ones that I hear a lot over in the States, that kind of now through things like TikTok and all that kind of stuff.
mm-hmm.
A lot of the stuff that gets kind of said, a lot of the phrases and stuff like that actually end up making their way over here. Quite a lot of the time through like TV shows and all that kind of stuff as well. Um, I remember when I was younger, people didn't really say like the word awesome much here, but
Oh,
then suddenly people were saying it a lot, and it was like, okay,
I'm
um,
sorry.
yeah, and like I remembered hearing it on TV shows like Friends. I used to watch like sitcoms when I was younger a lot, um, and that was the only real time that I heard those kind of words. But then I was hearing it from my friends at school, a lot more, and I was like, all right, okay, I guess that word's here now.
Yeah, it definitely gets picked up. I love this. Football is so much more dangerous despite padding because of higher rates of TBI. As my former football playing father would say, the current rules of football don't allow for proper tackling posture, which leads to more TBI. It just sounds like what they wanted was rugby. They started playing rugby, realized that rugby hurts, and so they made rules to help avoid people getting hurt.
They get the padding.
Uh-huh.
I don't really. I mean, I watch rugby sometimes. I watch it if maybe Scotland are playing, but it's again not one of my favourite sports. Um, it's always quite a big deal. It's one of
Right.
those where it's followed enough here that it's quite a popular sport. Of course, but like, yeah, I only ever really watch if Scotland are involved. Um, otherwise I'm not really that keen. Um, but yeah, like I said, it's one of those. You kind of start to understand the rules a wee bit, if you've watched it enough, and I think a lot of the sports kind of have similar rules anyway that you can kind of follow a wee bit. You're like, all right, that's how offside works in that sport. Then that's fine, understood. Um, you know. Uh,
Sorry. Work
you
computer
all
was
right?
chirping at me about something. It's like, what's going on? Oh, I don't need to worry about that. Not my problem. Somebody else's problem. Um, it's one of those things. It's just one of those things.
Yeah.
But like to me, I always wondered why. Now this is not because I am looking for somebody to provide an answer to this. Hear me out. But it's always been a curiosity of mine, given how similar rugby and football is. Why the separation into two sports? Why didn't the original makers of football just adopt rugby, or was it that they just didn't like the rules that rugby had and
I'm
decided they
wondering if
wanted?
they wanted to kind of stamp in with their own kind of sport to try and make something out of, like see, I know that over here, like football is kind of seen it as our national sport, really. Like, there's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
history there as well, and being, for instance, like the first ever international football match was between Scotland and England in Glasgow. Um, at the very first kind of stadium, national stadium here. So yeah, like there's obviously a lot of history with football here, and I'm wondering if maybe that's what it is. Like a lot of these countries wanted a sport that they could maybe try and make their own, you know.
No, we're gonna get a history lesson from the teacher in chat anyways. Love
I've
you,
just
brain
seen that
check.
pop up.
My soccer and rugby rules to make a new American sport. Yeah, it just I don't know. I feel like it feels more aggressively more rugby than it is soccer. But I imagine there's probably some soccer rules in there. I just don't know all of the rules for that well enough to be able to speak to it of any sorts.
I think we should all just give up and play shinty. Do you know what shinty is?
Not a clue.
Shinty is a sport that's played mostly in the Scottish kind of Highlands and stuff. It is basically like a really rough field hockey game. They can really batter lumps to each other with those sticks. Like, yeah, it's pretty tough game.
Aha. You said shinty, and all I heard was like all I did was like reach down and instinctively grab my own shins. I'm like, you're not banging my shins around. Thank you very much.
No, that's exactly what would happen if you played shinty. just with a big hockey stick.
You just thought you weren't getting away with that. To be fair, I think to be fair, most sports. Now that's an interesting topic, right? Because we're onto this now, and um, I think it's really interesting to watch the really great players of a particular sports when they're playing. And you always know if you're dealing with a really great player because legitimately the game that they're playing is having its rules changed because they're so good at the game that they make it look so easy that everybody else can't keep up with them. And because they are so impossible to hold down, they've got to come up with rules to hold them down so that they can make it fair for everybody else playing. Like it's that guy is such a powerhouse at the game. It like lopsides everything for it.
I mean, you look at even for me, obviously recently you're looking at Lionel Messi in our football. You're
Mm-hmm.
looking at Cristiano Ronaldo and people like that. There's going to be a few more now. There's a lot of young players coming through. There's a guy playing at Barcelona, Lamine Yamal. He's a really good player. A lot of good younger players coming through. You can kind of see that in a wee bit. But they're just not quite there yet. Um,
I'm just loving the fact that I'm just describing these particular players and everybody else is coming up with names. Oh yeah, we're talking about this person. We're talking about that.
Serena and Venus.
Every sports has their
Yeah.
version of that. But I think also the thing to keep in mind too is that for sports to continue to grow, I think the industry gets reinvented by the players. And so they come through and they
Yeah,
do things like
I
that.
would agree with that. Yeah. Hmm. I think one thing is as well that see what really makes a good a player the best player at the sport is that when that happens and when that rule changes, they can adapt and still be that best player. You
Yeah.
know, because like right now like could have in the last 5 years or so, 6 years, maybe more than that actually now. Video assistant refereeing came in to football, and that's not always good. I mean, you can look no further than the recent game that my team played, Celtic. They played in the European competition,
Mm-hmm.
and we scored a goal. But the video ref disallowed for a ghost handball that didn't happen. Like no angle showed that handball, so there's an awful lot of mistakes in there. Um, but if you can like kind of come out of that and still be one of the best players in the world, you know what I mean? Um, when there's so much like change happening and they're trying to get used to this new system, and I mean it's taken them years to get used to it. They're still not getting it right. Um, you know,
Mm-hmm.
that's what kind of shows that you are the very best. There's no doubt about that. You know.
But I mean, that's kind of one of those things. It's kind of to me. I think that's just fascinating to watch.
Yeah.
And you're
Yeah. I
right.
mean, I've
It's interesting to see the greats continue to be great even after they've put in these rule sets that to hamper them.
mm,
Like you're too good at this. We're going to intentionally make it harder for you to be that good. And they're like,
yeah.
yeah, watch me work anyways.
Absolutely. No, the funny it was a funny thing, right? When I was in Norway,
Hmm.
for the Norway and Scotland match, see, I'll tell you the whole thing, right? We didn't have a ticket for the game yet. Um, it kind of goes off of loyalty points, and when you don't have enough loyalty points, you just don't get a ticket, and it sucks, right?
Right.
But we managed to get a ticket at the game in the home end, kind of separated. So me and my brother were like miles apart. He actually managed to get one just above the Scotland fans, which was quite nice, and I was surrounded by Norwegians, like just absolutely. If the nearest Scotland fan to me was away along the stand at the other side, and I'm just sitting there having my lonesome, just like arms folded and that. The Norwegians that sold me the ticket were absolutely lovely though, they're chatting away, really
Uh-huh.
good. But I remember just kind of having a lot of fun with it because there was one point where the one of the kind of really big players right now is Erling Haaland, and he's Norwegian. And every time he got the ball, they just kept on getting all excited, like, oh, he's on it, kind of. And like then there was one point where he just kind of broke away from a corner, and one of our players essentially just rugby tackled him to the ground, and probably should have got sent off, but he got a yellow. And I just stood up and I just belted out at the top of my lungs. I was like, "Yes, that's how you take calendar. Come on!" You know. I don't, all these Norwegians were turning around just pissing themselves laughing at me.
Just go
and
for it. Just go for it. It's fine. It's fine.
yeah, and so this the guy that was next to me, the older guy that sold me the ticket, he turned around to me and
Hmm.
he said, "Yellow card, red card." I was like, "Yeah, probably." I says, "I'm not complaining, but yeah, probably."
Probably. That's fantastic.
It was a lot of fun. I do like going to the Scotland games because the thing is, we're not just going to a match. We're going. It's a big. I'll give you like
Hmm.
a description that I really liked from somebody was I met at one of the games. He said it's like going on a big lads holiday with 2,000 of your friends. That's that was
That's a
the
hell of a
perfect
way to put
analogy.
it. That is a hell of a way to put it.
Uh-huh.
Cricket,
And it
yes.
was.
Okay, and I'm right there with you. I do not understand the game. Would love to learn it.
Uh, yeah, it's one of those games again. Never really gotten into it. It's more cricket isn't really that popular in Scotland. It's very popular in England. We
Yeah,
do have a
yeah.
national team, and it was very funny when we beat England in the friendly kind of match because we're just not very we're not very like known so in cricket. So it was quite funny to see that. But um, like, yes, come on.
Yes, kill him. That's how you do it.
So yeah, I did find that very funny. We're quite petty when it comes to
No,
that.
there's nothing wrong. Look. I say have fun at it, right? You gotta
uh,
you gotta be able to laugh
it's all
and be able to get into
it's
it. Yeah.
always a bit of banter with the Scots and the English when it comes to that stuff.
Is it
You
banter?
know,
Is it really? How much of that is
uh,
banter, and how much of it is just like, yes, we're getting even for you guys' stupidity sometimes.
I mean, I
Um,
would. There's a lot
I
of that.
look. I don't expect you to have an answer for that number one, so don't think
Oh
you
no,
do have to.
there is a lot of that in it. Like you do hear that a lot.
Yeah,
I mean, there's times where people will be saying stuff that I'll be like, right, that's enough. That's not very
yeah.
nice.
That's a
Um,
little over the top, right?
yeah, and like a lot of the time, what you hear about is when banter fisticuffs. What's the difference? That's funny. You see,
Eh,
you
it's
see,
fine. It's fine. Don't worry about
the
it.
you see quite a lot of the time. What happened back in the 90s was that Scotland stopped doing all that kind of hooligan fighting stuff because it gives us a bad
Hmm.
name, and a lot of the time. And I think there's a lot of the English supporter that want to be like that, but there's enough of them that still want to do that it still kind of causes shit. Um, so like I would never like I've seen quite a lot of the fighting happening,
Right.
um, and starting up, and you see it in the tournament sometimes. It's not happened for a while, to be fair, but you just kind of go laugh like, why? What are you doing? Like what's the point? Just go and have a bit of fun. And
Yeah.
I mean, you look at Scotland. We were voted the best fans in the tournament when it came to the Euros in Germany because of how we were. It was Scotland brought 5% of our population to Germany. So there was thousands of people, all in all in
sorry,
kilts.
sorry. Give me a
And
sec.
that
I'm
is how
sorry.
passionate we are about football.
I'm just all right. This probably sounds very very racist. I suppose they're very not really racist, but stereotyping.
Mhm.
Hey Martin, welcome in. But you're like,
Hello,
yeah,
Martin.
Scotland took 5% of their population to Germany, and all I could see was that half the stadium taken up by a bunch of beard
Oh,
up
oh
kilt
no, that
wearing guys.
happened. That actually happened. Like, see, I could. I'm gonna show you something. Hang on. I'll send you like an
God.
image. Hang on.
Yeah.
Scotland versus Switzerland. It was at the Euros, and
I just
I'll just get an image up.
yeah, it was just one of those like they're all just like yeah, yelling, screaming, beer in hand, whatever. Uh,
Right. So this is actually quite a good one. What you see here is the stand that um the stand at the side where the camera is full of
mhm.
Scotland fans. The majority of that stadium was packed with Scotland fans. As you see, the red are Switzerland. Send you it now on Discord. So like there's an area where it's a bit more mixed. You see that too.
Right.
Um, but then there's like a wee bit of red there. There's some Scotland flags in there too. But like the whole stadium, the rest of that stadium is all Scotland. And I was there. The atmosphere was bloody incredible.
I can imagine. Holy cow.
It was so
Uh,
good.
but okay, so again, this is I'm not trying. I'm for the love of God, I'm really not trying to be rude about this, but this is all I've
Oh,
got in my head is we have guys in kilts,
uh-huh.
drunk, yelling and
Me too.
shouting at the game, right? And meanwhile, everybody's like, you know who was the best people to show up for this? That's right, the drunkards. Like, wait, the
That's
guys
usually the
drinking were
case.
the.
It's usually the case.
uh,
Funnily enough, I think it was actually um,
Take care,
try to
Rain
think.
Chicks. Thank you for dropping by. Enjoy class. It just feels wrong
Enjoy.
because you're like,
So
why
the
can't
thing is,
everybody just
like,
be
is
reasonable?
exactly. I mean, that's the thing. We go, we have a laugh. Like I said, 5% of the population, right? But not one hint of trouble. Like nobody, not one arrest, nothing.
Yeah,
And
and
yet you hear so many fans like,
uh,
oh no, this isn't stereotypes when it's actual culture, though, Kian. Like it's, we are Scotland as a drinking culture, a lot like you see from, when you hear about the Irish. Um, it's a drinking culture. We've also the kilts are a real thing. We don't wear them every single day, but
yeah,
it's a
no,
real thing.
I
Um,
wouldn't imagine you would wear it every single day, but I would
no,
imagine that
but
you
that's
they.
that's a stereotype. Um, so there's that, and then there's people that say we haggis every day. No, we don't.
No,
I
no,
eat it
no, no.
a few times a year. Like sometimes there's a thing called a haggis pudding, which is kind of used in place of black pudding sometimes in a kind of
Mm-hmm.
fry up, like it's for breakfast. Um, so I mean we do have it with that, obviously. When
Right.
it's a haggis pudding, that's really nice. Um, but yeah, like there is a wee difference there between stereotype and culture. Sometimes people can can get the two
Well,
mixed up a wee bit.
well, yes, sometimes you can get mixed up. Sometimes you can also take that and be very derogatory with it too. So,
Absolutely,
like,
yeah.
I like to try and preface things to make certain that you understand that first off, I'm not trying to be culturally insensitive. Like, I don't
Mhm.
know.
No, I didn't think that at all when you were speaking
I
there.
I have I
You
have I have thoughts in my head. I have things that were presented because that's, how they're presented to us. And the only way you
yeah,
learn is by asking questions and getting to know individuals
no,
better.
absolutely.
Like there are things that we did on the island in Puerto Rico growing up as a
Mhm.
kid that people be horrified. Like, no, you didn't actually did. Yeah, it was a thing, and it was culturally accepted. It was perfectly fine for us down there on the island. We did it all the time. Um,
Yeah.
and some people will get squeamish about it and be like, no, 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 and they get upset.
Mhm.
I was trying to look for the word for it. I'm like, no, the word, it's the right word. They get upset. Um,
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the thing as well, is that there's a bit of a like a fine line between
mhm.
sometimes between banter and between and like kind of just obviously there's that kind of being derogatory that in, when it comes to like stereotypes and stuff like that,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it's just something that you're playing with something you don't fully understand, and if you say the wrong thing, they're gonna get upset. Um, and that's kind of the thing.
yeah.
Um,
And so I like being corrected, but I also like learning. And
yeah,
the only way you learn sometimes is to
absolutely.
ask the questions, and the
Well,
questions can
that's
be
it.
inappropriate. But
For me, for
you have
me, ask away. Like I've never minded that at all. Like,
yeah.
um, as long as you're
Some
just here trying to learn a wee bit about
yeah.
it. Like even after this, if you ever have any questions about Scotland and her culture and like really my interpretation of it as well, because a lot of folk might have see it a wee bit differently than I do, but you
Well,
can
I
always ask me.
I think. Well, but like yeah, your version of Scottish culture is going to be highly dependent on the way you were raised, which is
Yeah.
there's nothing. Your Scottish culture is just as Scottish culture as anybody else from there in Scotland. You just depending
Oh
on
yeah.
like, oh yeah, they're from the Highlands, or they're from over there by this side. Like
Yeah.
even in Puerto Rico, Puerto Rico is a very small island out in the middle of the Atlantic, and
Yeah.
even on that island, there's a big shift in culture from the people that are down in San Juan, that's just a tourist trap area, and the
Yeah.
people who live in inner island towards the mountain areas.
So when you meet somebody like from Puerto Rico, somewhere,
Mhm.
um, do you like so if you're like somewhere else and you happen to meet someone from Puerto Rico, would you like treat them as if like they're like a good friend, like you know them kind of thing, or is it just kind of like, hiya, how you doing,
Uh,
kind of thing?
so it sounds bad, but honestly, it depends on where they are on the island, where they're
Mm,
from.
right.
So
Okay.
what'll end up happening is we'll greet each other, say hi, shake hands, and then we'll exchange names. And from the names, I can tell you, okay, well, you're not from San Juan, you're from up here, and so I will talk a certain way to them because we're the inner island's more relaxed and laid back.
Uh-huh.
So like everybody's family if you're inner island. Um,
Yeah, I mean
down
that's
around
that's
San
how
Juan,
Scottish folk are.
right? Down around
Mm,
San Juan, people are more uptight.
right.
So you,
Okay.
you don't call somebody a family if they're from the San Juan area. They get a little unless you're actually familiar, then no, you don't do that.
Aye, well,
So
this is a thing. Like, it's
mhm.
why I ask. Is like, see if a Scottish person meets another Scottish person, we hear the accent, and you're like, oh, why are you from? It's just an immediate connection. You're like, oh, you're Scottish, and you just start having a big chat with them as if like you know them, you've known them for
Yeah,
years, but you've never met them before. And
yeah,
it's great. Like, it's good to have that because like
yeah, it
especially
is.
with me going away, going away to Vancouver and stuff like that, like it'll be great when I hear a Scottish accent somewhere, and I'll be able to just instantly have that kind of connection with someone. Um, when I was in Australia, we went out when we were heading out to that wee fishing village I told you about. We
Hmm.
went to some wee Aldi that was there, and we went in. We were getting served by a Scottish woman. And I was like, what are the chances of that? Because it was like out in really quite in the middle of nowhere, It wasn't
Right.
like in the city, and we ended up chatting to a Scottish woman that's serving us, um,
Nice.
and we just ended up having a good old chat about like where she's from and when like what brought her over here and all that kind of stuff. And I turned to my cousin and I said, "Aye, we all know each other in Scotland, you see."
We're all a family. Don't even worry about it. It's fine.
Yeah. That's actually
Fine.
it.
But
Absolutely.
I mean, but that's just very much so a cultural thing. And
Yeah.
again, I find all this sort of stuff fascinating. So I like asking these sort of questions. I get somebody
Mhm.
from a different culture from me. I'm like, oh, okay, well, tell me about it. I'm
Yeah,
interested. I want to
absolutely.
know because I don't guarantee I don't try to be rude, but I don't guarantee that I'm
Mhm.
always the most gracious individual about it sometimes. And I get carried away.
But again, like that's like, okay. When people, will recognize that they've not meant to be insulting and stuff like that. And if you realize that and you maybe apologize for if you
Hmm.
maybe offended somebody or whatever, people are generally okay with that. Like, it's just, oh, really sorry about that. I didn't mean to upset you in that way, and
Right,
you
right, right.
have a wee chat with them. But you know, it- it's it's a, when people kind of just leave it and they're like, ah, well, I offended them, big whoop, then that's kind of shite. You don't, I don't like that. I wouldn't do that to anybody.
Right.
You know.
But it's one of those things that I think if you if you apologize sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
Understand
No,
that
absolutely.
okay, that was a little over the line. I probably shouldn't have said that. Let me apologize, and
Yeah.
let me recognize that sooner rather than later. Being cognizant of who you are, and I think a lot of that too carries through in like streaming culture, right? Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
you take up streaming, you are dealing with and touching a much larger, broader audience. You talk with people all over the world because you can. It's a
Not
fairly
only
normal
that,
thing.
like I think one thing that I always remember is like when I'm streaming myself, like
Hmm.
my room is my safe space, right? Like
Right.
I feel very comfortable in my room. I feel like, I mean, I can just sit here and chatting with my pals and gaming.
Hmm.
I don't want somebody else to feel I wouldn't want someone else to feel any kind of discomfort in their room that, you know,
Right.
I'd want them to feel that, you know, what I feel. So I wouldn't want to be any kind of source of discomfort for them because, yeah, at the end of the day, we're just chilling, playing games, and having fun, and that's really all there is to it,
That is.
And like I just never understand people that come into folk streams sometimes and they can just be a bit of an arsey, like, come on, man, like it's not that deep.
It's not that big of a deal. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah. No. I totally get that. Like they're
Yeah.
you have to wonder about these people that come in and they're like, yeah, I'm gonna come in and be the world's biggest jackass in your stream, and you're like,
Yeah.
why? Like, what is that
Uh-huh.
doing for you?
Nah, exactly.
It doesn't really
Um,
accomplish too much.
mhm.
Now, do you have other than leaning in on your moderators, because you said you've had your moderators delete lines and deal with individuals that come in. Uh, this
Mhm.
what? Oh,
I think she was talking about the safe space in your room and how you need to
yeah,
remember
yeah,
what we were just talking about. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, huh? Sally, don't mess up my. Damn it! You derailed my thought. Now I got. Hang on. Let me go try to find this train, track it down again. Son of a but so how do you deal with like you yourself if you're in the middle of a stream, everything's going cool, and then you have this rude individual come in, like what are your methods of how do you handle that sort of situation? Do you just depend on your mods to make the right decision? Do you take action? Do you try to talk to the person? Like what are your procedures?
You see how I handled it last time. That's how I always try to. Like I would speak to them,
Hmm.
let them know I'm not happy at what they've done, what they've said. I think, really I let it be known that we're not really about that. We're just here to have a bit of fun. We're chilling. Um, and if my mods go and time them out or something like that, I'm not going to stop them. You know what I mean? Like if they
Right.
see it as something that's like, you know, and a timeout offence, I'm going to be like, all right, okay, fair enough. Like I've, I'll leave that a wee bit up to them if they feel a bit uncomfortable with what's been happening as well, and if they think it should be that way, then I'm not going to tell them not to, because um, I know we were speaking about this not too long ago, Tally, the person that came in. It was good. But yeah, like I said, my mod banned them. They actually went away, reflected on what I'd said, and they came back and they apologised and they gave me a wee follow. Like that was really nice, like really nice wee experience there. Because I'd helped turn it around. I'd kind of changed their, you know, stopped them in their tracks and being that way. And they started to tell me things that apparently had happened, or one of my friends had said in the game that, I mean, when they said it, I was kind of like, okay, because what they what they told me was basically that my friend had said that, oh, they didn't see me, kind of, they didn't see me, and kind of apparently was really going home on that, really kind of putting that, setting that in a wee bit as if they were taking the piss. I think that was what their thought was, that that was it. But then the person told me that they're a wee bit blind in this eye, and they just took a wee bit of offence to that. And I said, look, like, I'm really sorry that if that's the case, like I can't really control what my friends say on my stream, in that way. But at the same time, it's not exactly something that is, it wasn't exactly something that you wouldn't just say in the game. And at the same time as well, how would we know? Like, how would we have known that that was the case if we don't know you? You know?
Right.
Um, so like, I guess I took that in, and then they gave me a follow. um, because, it was just something I think they've just taken a bit of offence to at the time, and because of the situation, which is fine. I understand that. But again, how would we have possibly known that, because we don't know the person? Um, all they were saying was that the killer didn't see them. I didn't see any problem with that myself, but I can understand hearing it and then thinking, oh, like, thinking of your own situation. I can kind of see that. It's just was a bit of a weird one. But like I said, but luckily they took in what I said, and
Yeah, it turned out well
it
in
was
the
all
end.
good.
Like,
But yeah,
so.
I mean, I've had that a couple of times. It barely happens though. I mean, I've had one person come into me, um, in Dead by Daylight, and I was playing, and this person comes in, and they started talking to me, just having a bit of a laugh. Um, and then they said, "Look, my friend is the killer, and they wanted me to come in and stream snipe so that they can win easily." They said, "But I'm not going to do that because I can't be bothered." so, so then they just sat there, and they just sat there in my chat. And I mean, I didn't really what they were doing. I didn't see it as like trolling. They were about a banner, but then later on, at the end of it, they gave me a follow and said, I came in here with the purpose of trolling, but you're too wholesome to troll." And I was like, all right, then, I
You gotta
guess I'm
love
too
that.
wholesome to troll.
You're like, wait, too wholesome. I don't. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Like, wait a second. Don't come in here and bring that mess in this. What are you doing? Take that out of here.
Wholesome, I'll show you wholesome.
Yeah. Darn Canadian quarters are like. Are you kidding me at that, Can? Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. It's terrible. It is one of those things. Like you spend a lot of time trying to think globally.
That's
You're
what
trying
Tally
to
always
be.
calls me, yeah. The wholesome horror streamer.
Tally, don't bring that mess in here. Don't spoil his good name like that. What are you thinking? No, I tease, honestly. But it's at some point, right? It's one of those. And I constantly keep this in mind, and I imagine other people do
Love
as
you, Tally.
well. While streaming, that you are, this is a global environment that you're in.
Yeah.
Like, this is not like, yes, I am streaming from my bedroom, my
Yeah.
safe space, and people are letting you in. They're watching you from their work, their offices, their cars, their own personal safe space at home. They're taking you all over the place,
Mhm.
and up to a point, that's you stop, and I mean, and it's what really like sets home, and I find, like, it's the hardest thing for me to swallow and deal with, is that understanding that while all of this is happening, right, what this means is that you are in fact an influencer, and you are influencing people around the globe. You are having an
Yeah.
impact on people's life, and then you stop and think about that, and you're like, when? When did what I have to say become important enough to influence people's decision making?
Yeah.
Um, and then
I
what do
mean,
you do with
yeah.
that?
I mean,
Like, how do you
it's quite
handle
a
that responsibility?
it's quite a nice thing to think about, though. Um,
Is it? I
because
find it terrifying.
I quite like that. I think it's nice that people have kind of trusted you with that in a way, you know. Um, and I think I also just know how my own interactions are with people. I don't, I've never had a big fight in my life. I've never had to punch anybody. I've never had anybody punch me. So like that as well, probably just it's another thing that kind of just shows me that I'm quite good at interacting with people, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't really aggravate people very much. Um, so uh,
Wait,
I
we're
don't know. I
supposed to be
just
aggravating people? Shit, I knew I was doing something wrong.
But like people don't tend to just like hate me or just come in and hate on me and stuff like that. So it's always
Yeah.
quite nice. And I think that the fact that I've noticed that myself with that whole situation I've just told you about. Um, and obviously all the other traveling that I do as well. Like I've actually stood in and like in the middle between two guys that were starting a fight. Because we do that, like Scotland fans, if it is happening, right? If it is happening, like we police it ourselves. We try not to like let it get to a point where the police have to get involved and then there's arrests happening. We actually just police it
Right.
ourselves. So like they had people like holding them away from each other, and I just kind of stood in the middle just to make sure they weren't getting close to each other again. Um, and they didn't go for each other again. So um, that was that. But like it's just drink as well. Sometimes people just can't handle their drink, and
Sometimes.
it's just they get quite aggro on each other. Um,
Right.
that's the thing is with the Scotland, following Scotland football team, we don't talk politics, we don't talk like
Oh,
our
good God,
football
no.
clubs, we don't talk religion, we don't talk anything that could separate the fans and make them quite, aggressive towards each other. And that's just a rule that we follow, and it's kind of a rule that you could maybe, follow in general, at times when you're in a big crowd of people. um, that there's some things that you just don't really want to talk about.
Well, I
Uh,
think it's worth it, mentioning that there are topic points that are
yeah, there's
you
times where
just
you
don't
can bring
talk.
up. Yeah,
Yeah,
there's times where you can bring up, and that's not really it. So
right. There
yeah.
there are time and places for everything.
Hmm.
And in the middle of a lighthearted discussion, politics doesn't belong there.
I know, like, I mean, I could tell you a wee
I'm
story
sorry.
about
If we're watching football, we're drinking beer and hooting and hollering. Last thing I want to hear about is the decisions made by the King of Denmark, or I don't know. I'm making shit up at this point, but
Aye. um, and then in Scotland, we'd say you're havering.
okay. I have heard this word before. I need to know
It
what is
means you're
Haviland.
talking a lot of nonsense. You're havering.
Oh, okay. Okay. Good to know.
What did I personally
Uh,
think is the most beautiful place in Scotland? Oof. Um,
yes. If I
like
wanted to come
when
visit Scotland, yeah, tell me somewhere to go to. I should absolutely be going to go see.
well, I'm quite near one of the big touristy attractions, one of the big walks in Scotland. Um,
I would say
called
avoid
Holyrood
touristy. Can you
Beautiful.
avoid tourist traps?
Well, it's not really a big tourist trap, to be fair. Like it does have tourists, but it's not huge. Um, but if you want to go up towards like Glencoe, you have a lot of mountains even on the way up. Like where that Loch Lomond place is actually like right at the foot of the Highlands in the west of the country.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so like when you start going up this, there's a big kind of motorway you go up, and it is it takes you away up to Fort William, and then you go up past you can go up towards Glencoe, and then up towards Inverness, and that drive is stunning if you go up that way. It is a very beautiful place here. There are a lot of good places to go. Um, and if you want to see things like, for instance, the bridge, the viaduct that they go across on Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, then you
Right.
can go up that way. That's at Glenfinnan. It's the Glenfinnan Viaduct. They'll have some tourists around, but you know the train that you see and can take videos of and stuff. You can go on it too, but it's probably quite expensive. But yeah, if you're wanting some history stuff, like you can go quite a lot of places. You can go up to um, Culloden. The Battle of Culloden took place in 1740, 45, something like that. That was like the end of the clan culture. Like that was when essentially Britain had finally kind of won against the clans. You know, it was the
Mm-hmm.
last kind of stand for like fighting for independence and stuff. Um, and if we were the Scottish clans were completely outnumbered, and a lot of them were ill. So you know, there was not much chance of them beating an empire at that time, you know.
Probably not, but
um, but yeah, like that's if you go up that way, you can go up to where the battleground was, and you can see that they have memorial stones right across the battlefield with the clans' names engraved into it that took part. As a you kind of stand, your memorial stand for forever. Um, which is always, I mean, it's just something to see. But yeah, like scenery wise, you're good going right across Scotland. Hang on a wee sec. Yeah,
okay. Meanwhile, while our guest is taking a momentary to themselves, I want to take this time to remind you that we are sitting here having a gentle conversation with a Glocky Gaming. Glocky Gaming is a fantastic horror streamer who does some Phasmophobia on Tuesdays, as well as they have a whole host of other games they like to play, Dead by Daylight among many. You should absolutely
Sorry,
go checking
my
them out
dog
and
comes in to
having.
say good night.
It's just fine. You are just
Yeah,
fine.
she kind of just comes in, jumps onto my bed, then takes some pets and leaves. So there wasn't really much point in turning my camera to show you.
No, no, no.
um,
It's just fine.
I would have done. I can show some pictures at some point.
You're just fine. Keep on rolling.
Yeah.
No, I was just reminding people that we were sitting down having a wonderful conversation with you, Lucky Gaming, and you know
Yeah.
should be checking you out in case anybody didn't know who we were talking about and talking
Yeah,
to.
it's been really fun. It's actually flew and I didn't realise that was the time. It's oh my god.
That's perfectly normal around here. It's absolutely perfectly normal. Everybody's like, "Where does the time go? It just disappears." Yes, yes, it does. Time
Yep.
flies when you're having fun. It is a right regular thing. It always it always seems like we're rushing to get it started, and then once you've started, it's over and done with before you're ever ready for it. And you're like, wait a minute,
Yeah,
I'm not, huh?
yeah.
The
Like
regular routine
let's
thing.
do more. I'm not done talking yet.
I'm not done. I'm not done. We were just getting started. Good. Now, are there games that you that you've played once on stream, but don't go, but still play regularly, but don't go back to play them on stream?
There are games for right now. I'm doing a thing on my Wednesday stream, um, where I'm playing solo games again because see the idea was that through the lockdown, I became quite kind of reliant on multiplayer games I can play with friends, and
Mm-hmm.
I just wasn't playing any solo games. I used to love playing a single player game. I loved the GTA playthrough of the campaigns and stuff like that. I loved games like Sleeping Dogs. I loved a lot of free roaming kind of games like that.
Right.
And just a lot of fun. Um, and yeah, so right now, I'm actually playing through Resident Evil, so I guess that's an example of it that we're kind of just playing games right through to the end, and we're playing it multiple times until on stream until I get it done. Like I'm playing it to the end, no matter what. um, and I see that question.
We're not asking that question, Kayan. Rude. Hey, so rude. So rude.
But yeah, like that was why I wanted to use one of my streams as an excuse to play single player games again and get through
Right.
them. A good story that I like. And right now, it's the first Resident Evil. I haven't ever played the first Resident Evil before, and I wanted to start, going through them properly before 9 comes out. And before I actually play 9, I want to go through all the other ones first.
Uh-huh.
Um, so that's
Well,
my idea.
if you are big into the lore behind the game,
Mhm.
like huge into the lore progression of the game, Resident Evil has the entirety of the series has a very rich lore, and I can point you to several different streamers that will happily sit down and regurgitate the entire history of the game. If you have a desire for that sort of information. I don't, not me. I pass. I'm not.
Nah, I mean, right now I'm quite good to just kind of play through them as I see them, and possibly later, we could talk about that because I might know a bit about what they're talking about.
Well, it's definitely one of those things that you want to make certain. If you are a lore buff, if you're somebody who gets into the story behind the games. For me, it's hard to get into the stories behind the games because when I started playing games, there was no story behind the game. In fact, you wanted the whole story behind the game. You read the book that came with it. The very first 2 pages of the book was the entire story of the game, start to finish. And then you just spent the rest of your time actually playing the game. There was very little in the way of dialogue or anything else. It was all about, the action and progressing through it and playing it and doing the thing and winning and getting to the end and rescuing the princess. Yay! And off you went, right? Like that was
all done.
It wasn't, believe it or not, Kane, it wasn't just Mario. Ghouls and Goblins, the same thing. I had a princess at the end to go save. I wasn't actually thinking of Mario. I was thinking of Ghouls and Goblins.
You do it immediately picture Mario when you say stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, yes. To be fair, Mario is the one that everybody's more familiar with. It's got more playtime on it, and Nintendo's a bit bigger for that. But I mean, you can run around Sonic the Hedgehog. The original game came with a manual, had 2 pages on the story, tell you about the story and the different robots and everything else that you were going to meet along the way, and then that was it. Diablo also had very little story. Yep, you're not wrong. So, like, to me, like, I don't. If I've got to go all the way through the entirety of a game in order to learn the story about the game, I am very much so disinterested in it. I play games because I like the challenge. I like the fun that goes along with it. I like the degree of difficulties that you experience while playing the game. So
I think there is something to that with for me the first Resident Evil game. th- there's an awful lot of like learning how to play that game. Like
Hmm.
I've only really like played through Resident Evil 5. I've played a good bit of 7. I haven't really completed a Resident Evil game apart from 5.
Hmm.
Um, but the first Resident Evil game took me ages. It took me a good like 2 or 3 streams to start getting used to it. And
Right.
it was so hard. Like I just that there were things that I was missing. I didn't know about the whole like you could turn the items around and examine the other side of them, and I just kept missing things because of that. And I'm like, oh my God. It took me so long to figure it all out, and then when I finally did figure it out, there was like rooms that you had to find and puzzles that you had to do, and it was a lot of back and forth. Like that game has a lot of back and forth.
Yeah.
Do you notice if you play it? But like, it was really,
Katie, why are you
really.
asking that question to a guy? Especially one that's comfortable in a kilt.
I feel like wearing a kilt when wearing Crocs might look a bit weird. I don't know. Maybe strange. I don't really like. I don't know how to picture that, but there was something quite funny about Crocs, and it was like this guy had asked a tattoo artist for a tattoo of Steve Irwin holding a giant croc. And they tattooed Steve Irwin holding a giant like fucking croc, like the shoe. And it's like, what?
Wrong croc. What are you doing?
Ah, it was so funny.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Hmm. That was so good.
I feel like that needs like I want that tattoo now. Like I'm like seriously, let
Okay.
me go get that on my leg. Just Steve Irwin holding an actual croc. Be like,
Yeah.
careful. I probably shouldn't do this, but
Oh, she's a beauty.
look at the holes on this one. Oh, and the coloring, mate. Hi, Katie. Uh, Crikey, she's a
She's a
beaut,
beauty.
right? Anyways, so do you have a preference between Crocs or Birkenstocks?
Um,
And if you don't know what a
me,
Birkenstock is,
me
we'll make
Googling what a Birkenstock is.
we'll tell that I was going to say if you don't know what a Birkenstock is, then Katie gets to come back in here and explain that.
Ah, well, I was actually just Googling it. Oops. I Googled it before you said that. Um, I mean, in Scotland, your feet are going to get wet either way, so probably none of them.
Hard pass. Wet feet? No, thank you.
It rains a lot here. Didn't you know?
The best sandal ever. I don't know about that. I might have to disagree with you on that one.
I wouldn't go wearing them at this time of year in Scotland, for sure.
Is there ever sandal wearing season in
Oh
Scotland?
yeah, there is. I mean, I don't really see a lot of folk wearing sandals to be fair, but you do get some sunny times where like uh we get it up from like you know places like Africa and stuff. And we end up getting a heat wave, but a heat wave in Scotland is not like a heat wave in a lot of places. A heat wave in Scotland is probably about I'd say about 28 Celsius would count as a heat wave.
Ha!
It's
That's not hot. Please.
to us that's quite hot.
Mm.
But like, if it starts saying on it that the temperature feels like 30 and 32, then
Yeah, well,
that's when
that's not hot.
that's really hot to us. Um,
Fair.
I mean, I'm okay in it. Like I was okay in Australia. I was like that every day. um, I was actually quite glad because my friend lives in Perth, so I went out to go visit him, and Perth was very windy and nice and cool, so I got a break from all
Nice.
the heat for a while. Uh,
Right. The biggest problems I have with certain places is not so much the heat, but the
mhm.
lack of humidity.
Yeah, well, Scotland does get plenty humid.
Yeah.
Um,
If
even
you
though
got
it's
water in your air, I'm perfectly fine. The gills in
yeah.
my lungs need that. Now, KN would like to know what convinced you to subject yourself to sitting here on this show. And we'll let him get by, even though it was a very rude question.
There was a few reasons. You know, uh, I mean, I've seen quite a few of them as well. And I enjoyed the format of it for the start. I did just enjoy like just a chill and a chat. Really, it's great.
It's all it is.
Um,
It's just,
yeah, and for me, I think one of the things that we haven't really spoken about actually, we need to get around to that. Um,
sure.
is for me that I always like to try and find ways to raise awareness for dyspraxia, and that is the learning disability that I have.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so you know, like that's one of the things I can tell you a wee bit about it.
Yeah, go for it.
I
You
can
want
I
to talk
can
about
tell
it?
you, yeah, I
We got
can
time
I can
still.
tell you a bit about it. I can tell you like how it's affected me and just a few points that I think probably need to be kind of made in terms of, I guess, how it's seen. Like that's one of the things as well, and I'll get around to that. But basically, dyspraxia, if you don't know, I don't know how much you would know about dyspraxia because it is one of the lesser known neurodiverse conditions. Um, and although there are a lot of people that do have it, the actual support required for it like you know, it's not really known as well, and just in terms of people, I guess, researching it and stuff as well.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, it's also known as developmental coordination disorder, and it is, it's kind of like, it's a bit like dyslexia and like all these kind of ones as well. There are a lot of similarities to things like autism, things like dyslexia, things like because it's known as a cousin of dyslexia, and things like ADHD. You do find with these that there are similarities, um, but of course this one is more focused on coordination. Um,
Okay.
so you could have things like your gross motor skills, your fine motor skills getting affected, communication skills, and your organizational skills is a big one too. Um, so yeah, like back to your question, Kane. This is kind of one of the big reasons I wanted to do this. So I'm just kind of pointing this out now. Uh, um, so yeah, well, where was I? um,
Dyspraxia.
yeah, we were on the what it affects. So something I've actually got it right here. I'd actually done this for the purpose of showing you. When I was in university, now I never got um do you wear socks or sandals? I don't really wear sandals skiing, to be fair. Um, so the support that I got finally came in university. I never got anything in high school, primary school. I never got anything in college because I didn't know it was available. But when I got to university after getting my college diploma, I finally got some support. And one of the things that support came with was actually this, and this is a pen that they can record. It can also record your notes with a wee camera underneath. Um, and it was very useful for lectures because I didn't really have any other way of taking the notes. I was always really slow at it. One of the things that I noticed was if I'm looking at the notes on the board and then looking down, I
Hmm.
would like literally remember two words and then have to look back up again. So I was very slow at taking the notes down and stuff. Um, and there's just for me, that is kind of the big thing is like the big thing that I'm trying to point out here is that I never got that support right through from primary school, high school, not knowing it was available in college, and then going in. And that's for somebody that got diagnosed early. There's a lot of people that would get diagnosed a wee bit later, and um, then things start to maybe make a bit more sense to them and stuff.
Right.
So Uh, but for me, I kind of always knew there was something there, but I wasn't getting the support for it. And see, for me, the thing is that um, I think that like with this one being kind of lesser known, you've got ones that are like dyscalculia, there's dysgraphia, um, and you've also got what's that other one I was looking at earlier on? Eh, hang on, I've got it here somewhere.
You're fine. KN, to
uh,
answer your question, I wear socks with my Crocs and my shoes. I do that because I know it'll drive a certain feral EMT up a wall.
the other one was yeah, auditory processing disorder. I'd heard about that one before. So yeah, like these ones, are ones that are kind of there, but people don't really know much about them. As much as say like autism,
Hmm.
dyslexia, and ADHD. And now the thing that I'm trying to get at here is that I'm seeing people with these more mainstream ones getting still not getting the support that they need. And if they aren't getting the support that they need, what chance have the people with a lesser known one got? So
Right.
like it's really important for me that I speak up and I raise awareness and try to get the word out there. And I've actually done a few things, and the game that I'm making is a project on dyspraxia. I'm making a serious game, which is an educational game. Um, I'm kind of revamping my honours project from uni, and
Right.
it's like a VR experience where a cart takes you along a track, and it stops at stations, and you've got to do challenges relating to different like attributes of dyspraxia, like things that can affect you, like gross motor skills, fine motor, that kind of thing.
Right.
So, um, you know, uh, so like that's really, excuse me, that's really what I'm trying to do is kind of figure out wee projects that I can do to raise awareness for it. Um, and when when I was in Leeds in my placement, I've done a presentation. I did a blog slash pod. I think I sent you that at one point, didn't I? Kind of at the
Hmm.
start to show you what it was. Yeah. I did this blog slash podcast thing where I'd answered a bunch of questions in somebody's podcast that never got used. And then I just ended up using them, using the recordings that I had for that for a blog post, and so that was that was just a wee thing, wee ideas that I like to come up with because I just feel like it's not really your fault. I don't get annoyed at people if they don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Like if you don't know, you don't know. I'm happy to
You don't
explain it to
know.
you.
Right.
You know, um, but I think that it's one of these things that has been ignored in society, and I think that every child, every teenager with a learning disability deserves to get that support that they need. And the only way you do
Yes.
that is by raising some awareness. So there you
I I don't disagree with that. Like it's important to make certain that you raise proper awareness for these sort of things. And honestly, I think in this day and age versus, I don't know, say 50 years ago, we have a lot more awareness of these issues. Um,
yeah,
I don't think they're being addressed fast enough, but I don't think anybody thinks they're being addressed fast enough,
no,
especially if they're suffering from that sort of
yeah,
malady. Um, but all that being said, it is important to make certain that you're at least speaking up about it, that you're bringing it to people's attention. You're going, look, this is a real thing.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, like
And
you think about things like when I was a kid. I'm feeling old saying that. When I was a kid, back in my day.
back in my
uh,
days,
so-
back in my days, oh, the croc hunter would go out and he'd find himself some of these beautiful crocs. They come in pinks and purples, and they got all these little holes that you can hang these gadgets and gadgets out of. And I probably shouldn't do this, but I'm gonna put one on my feet with socks on. Look out! Okay, that was absolutely terrible and atrocious. I'm sorry.
the Asturians in. Uh, so when I like I was saying when I was a kid,
Mhm.
like my mum had countless meetings with schools and all sorts, and they just didn't seem to get it. Like I had head teachers like screaming at me for things that were just really stupid, that didn't really make any sense to anybody, but like to somebody that's a neurodivergent kid that has a lot of problems with processing information and stuff like that, I was really terrified. And like she basically was shouting at me and basically just telling me not to cry and stuff, and I'm like, what? Nowadays I'm looking back on that, like, how do you expect a kid, that you're screaming at like that, not to, just bust into tears?
Take it a little
It just,
personal or anything. Like really, don't
yeah, it's just,
don't be that person. How about that?
yeah, no, it was crazy. And like for me, when I'm seeing stories quite a lot, like kids and teenagers, even like to this day, with these kind of conditions, and they're getting mistreated and not getting enough support, and I'm like, come on, like, why is this still happening? It doesn't really make sense to me. Everyone deserves the support. Everyone deserves the right to a good education where they feel okay going in, and they can go in and feel supported in school and stuff like that. That's
Yes.
that's how I've always seen it.
Everybody, I think everybody has a right to be the best that they possibly can be.
hmm
Uh, and
it's just
um,
when you're not giving them the chance to do that, and it's like, oh God,
well,
it does. It's one of those things, but it's probably not going to really change. But I can do what I can do, and
well,
that
but,
is
but
try
that's
to
all
raise
you can do
awareness.
is you can
Yeah,
you can
yeah,
just try, and as long as you're trying every day, then at
hmm
least you're not contributing. You are contributing, but you're contributing in a positive manner.
yeah.
You're not contributing. No, technically you are contributing. It's we need a better word for this. It's a positive contribution,
Uh-huh.
which is important.
Absolutely. Any awareness I can raise. The other thing that I've seen quite a lot is like celebrities. When you see celebrities that will come out and say that
Hmm.
they got it. Um, I do see a few of them. Like Daniel Radcliffe has come out and said that he's got dyspraxia. What's it? Florence and the Machine, the singer. Um, she's come out and said it. I don't really know what all of them have said, but I know that the only thing I've seen about like kind of Daniel Radcliffe say is that, oh, I had like difficulty tying my shoelaces when I was young. And I was like, that doesn't really tell anybody anything about it, though. You know, like fair enough, he's come out and said that you got it, but you haven't really told anybody a thing about it with that. Um, yeah, I feel like maybe it would have been nice if somebody with a big name like that could come out and just say, this is what it is. Um, you know, because then it becomes more mainstream that way.
Well, it does,
You know.
but sometimes it's enough for somebody just to champion the cause, and then
Oh,
you can make
that's
your
understandable. I know
you
that,
can
but
make your
it's
your own name
one of those
about it, right?
things. Hmm. No,
Then
absolutely. Yeah,
so
it's just one of those things. It's
there's that
quite
way
hard
around
to
it as
hear
well.
when you've
Yeah.
been through all of that as well, and you're like, oh, for God's sake, I want more.
You
Come
want
on.
more? Well, yes, and I don't disagree. Everybody wants more. We always want
Yeah.
more. But I mean, there's only so much that some people can do. Like if you're
No,
doing the
exactly.
best that you can, then you're
It's also
doing the best you can.
there's also that understanding that he is a big name. He has to probably watch what he says for his image and all that kind of stuff, and you know, there's a bit of that to it as well, I'd imagine.
Uh, I don't know.
I don't know.
I think
Maybe.
people take up and champion things all the time for stuff that they
Mhm.
feel passionate about or they're interested in, and a lot of them do so and bother and be damned their name, their social
Yeah.
standing, their whatever that comes out of it, they don't care because as far as they're concerned,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
this is an important thing to them. Um, but you like at what point where you don't the problem is you don't know what's important to who. And so
Yeah.
you don't know where people's perspective on these sort of things take off at.
Oh no, exactly. Um, yeah. Like I say, it's just one of those things. It's quite hard when you've been through it and you've got quite a
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
heavier case of it, I guess. That like you know, like, I went. I can tell you, I went through physiotherapy because I couldn't walk right when I was young. Like pretty
Mm-hmm.
intensive. Having to because I used to walk flat-footed and kind of veer off to the side quite a bit when I was a kid. And like when you've been through all of that, you just want you just feel so bad for all the young ones that they have to go through the same thing that
Oh,
you did,
absolutely.
you know. And it's like it's understandable that I just want more. I want more to be done about it.
Yeah.
It is frustrating.
No, no, I totally get that.
Yeah, you're
I,
right,
I
Kane.
totally
Yeah,
do.
some people do go a bit overboard because like, yeah, yeah, I suppose you also have to remember as well is that like a lot of people, because a lot of the other ones are mainstream, they kind of there's a lot more kind of jokes about them and stuff like that, about the conditions and stuff like that, and it doesn't really maybe get taken as seriously sometimes, um, you know. So yeah, I guess you're right there, and some people do go a bit overboard with it, with like the things that they say and. But yeah, for
Well,
me, I can just say what
you
I can
just
say, and
that's right. And then as long as you're raising awareness as best as you
yeah,
can, so that I mean, the worst thing to do is to stand. There's an old saying. How does that go? Um, Evil happens because good people stand aside and do nothing.
hmm
Um, and it's just one of those things. Like yeah, you're one voice in the dark, but at least you're one voice in the dark, and you're not just sitting there just letting it be. You're not being passive about it.
and I do
So,
have a plan as well to do a wee Dyspraxia charity stream at some point. I'm hoping
mm-hmm.
to maybe do that after I finish my game, and then I can stream it
Voice.
on that Dyspraxia stream as a wee way of kind of raising some more awareness. And obviously, this is a thing that I've had my whole life. I've had a lifetime of time to research it and understand it. So
Yeah,
I do have an
and
awful lot of
you've lived it too. I mean, it's
yeah,
part of your regular life. That was the thing
yeah,
you grew up with.
exactly.
Uh,
Hmm. And if you Well, you'll
Hey,
probably
and
find with a lot
who
of these.
doesn't wear socks with their sandals? I'm just saying. Like that's I thought that was standard. Like you put socks on when you put sandals on. That's how that works. Duh.
Mhm. Yeah, and what was that? Sorry, that was can't remember what I was saying there.
You're fine. You're fine.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, Winter. um, well, I was saying something about it. Going, what was that? I totally lost my train of thought there. I got mixed up in socks with sandals again.
Sandals. Sandals.
Ah well, it's gone. It'll probably come back to me later on.
Don't
I'll be
wear
raging.
socks. It's all right.
I'll be like, now I can't say it. The stream's done.
No, you're always welcome to bring it back in. Like
Yeah, I know. I will. I will.
it's fine. It's fine, right? But we are at that time in the evening. We have about
Mhm.
15 minutes left, which is usually about enough time to get our last couple questions out.
Yeah.
And then you get to select who you want to go raid out to. So
Okay.
uh, let's get you started in your last couple of questions because these are always fun to
Mhm.
talk about, and they always
Mm.
end like just as soon as you think you know which way the direction that question is going to go, it never ends where you think it should end. Like it always takes
Mhm.
weird meandering trails. Um, but the first one, and you started actually touching on it already, so this one I think this one will go by pretty quickly. But we are well over halfway through 2025. 2025? Jesus, where's time go? We are well over the
Mhm.
halfway point in 2025, coming up on 2026. Between now, the end of the year, and say the first half of next year,
Mhm.
on your channel, do you have any big planned events, like subathons, charities, drives, large goals that you're shooting for towards things of that nature that you would like to raise awareness? I know we've just finished raising awareness about dyspraxia. And you're welcome
Yeah.
to continue to talk about that as well. But like, are there any other things that we can, be keeping an eye out for and getting excited for coming up that you want to,
Well,
raise awareness on?
there's definitely. Well, there's definitely the charity stream.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, outside of the stream thing, I'm trying to make a move for getting a job in Vancouver. So there's that to deal with and try to figure out. And yeah, I
Oh,
mean,
you're moving to Vancouver?
I'm trying to get a job there. Yeah, that's the
Oh,
idea. So
I didn't realize you were
uh,
trying to move here.
yeah, yeah, I'm trying to get across. I've got a work permit, so I just need to go and get that
Huh?
activated. And
Nice.
yeah, that's what this trip's for. This weekend, a 2 month trip is for getting that activated. And there's like a wee introduction later that expires within the year, so you need to kind of get over and
Right.
get that kind of done first. So I'm going to do that for this wee 2 month trip, and then if I can find anything at any of the career fairs or the networking events that I'm attending throughout my time there, I'm probably start next year anyway, so I'll come home and go back. Uh, so yeah, just wait and see what happens with that. Um, you know,
Excellent.
of course there is the Dyspraxia stream
Yep.
that I'm going to be doing at some point. It may even happen while I'm over there. I can't actually do my game at this time while I'm over there because it's in VR and my laptop is really shitty with running VR. So I can't test it, that's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I can do some level design. I could maybe do some of that. Yeah, so there's all that. I got my Dyspraxia stream. I don't know when it's going to be yet, but it is coming. I might even not have the game on that. I could do that another time. And just do it so that I can just get the stream done. Because I do want to raise awareness in that way too, and raise some
Right.
money. Um, And yeah, like any kind of affiliate anniversaries that I do, and it's like my main kind of 12-hour subathon thing that I do. If I do a giveaway, I'm actually gonna do the next one the same way I did the one on my last affiliate anniversary. I brought I brought out Jenga, and I had a raffle as well. So every person that subbed got a Jenga piece for me. So it was like me versus them, the last person that subbed, essentially. And then every person that gift subbed also got that, but then got that amount of raffle tickets as well.
Right.
So it was it was a fun wee way to do the giveaway, and I'll probably do the Jenga
Yeah.
one again next time. That was good.
Well, it sounds like a good time.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. But yeah, I've got some things planned for for all that. I just need to figure out when.
Ah, the age-old question: time.
Yeah, I mean, obviously with the Vancouver thing, we don't really know exactly when.
Yeah.
I'm glad you enjoyed it, winner. It was a really good stream. I enjoyed that a lot.
It was so much fun. It was a good time.
Yeah. And our lovely Tally won something in it too, so she won one of the raffle
Nice.
prizes.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
It's always good to have friends and supportive individuals in anything that you are
Absolutely.
attempting to do.
Yep, definitely.
Definitely is. Okay. So I mean, but yeah, so definitely plans of things coming up.
Mhm.
So there's that to look forward to. Um,
Mhm. Yeah,
okay.
we did that, Tally, I know.
Hiya, Anya. You're just in time for the important
Hello,
last two
Anya.
questions. Hello. Um, how long have you? I'm curious now. How long have you been streaming?
I started in June of 2023.
Okay, so a couple years
So
now.
that was my 2 year, so I'm at 2.5 years now.
Nice.
Um, I was affiliated relatively quickly because I kept on I kept bringing it up to people just for the hell of it to see if I'd get more followers that way, and I did. And I ended up getting affiliated like relatively quick. So I was affiliated by the
Nice.
end of July, which was nice. Um, and yeah, I mean that was it. Just from there, just kept on going, and I took
Yeah.
some advice from some of the fellow streamers that I knew at the time, the ones that were a bit, especially ones that had done it for a long time, and um, you know, your ones as well, of course. It's always nice to get wee tips and tricks.
Well,
Yeah,
and
when you're
and
starting
that's
out.
that's kind of the whole point
Yeah.
of the last question is, of course, given what you know now after getting to this
Mhm,
point in your streaming career, right?
mhm,
If you were talking to a brand new person coming onto the scene looking to get started streaming for whatever reason, whether it's you're trying to give yourself advice, you've gone back in time to talk to yourself, if that makes this easier. Um, or you're just talking to a brand new streamer, what would have been a single piece of advice that you would give to them that was like, if I had known this, life would be so much easier. If you follow this, becoming a streamer is going to be so much easier for you. What would be a good piece of advice like that you could give somebody?
So one thing that I've kind of kept from when I first started and some of the advice that I got, um, don't let people kind of tell you what to stream and try to control that. I've seen people trying to do that before. um, I would say like stream what you want to stream. You know, if you're streaming a game just because it's got a lot of followers and stuff for that, and you think you might get more from it, but if you don't enjoy it, then a lot of the time, a lot of folk that will come in might not, if they'll just kind of see you not enjoying it and might not want to follow and stuff. So play what you want to play what you enjoy. Make sure you're kind of talking through it, even if you're alone. at that moment. If you've kind of glanced across and seen that you don't have any viewers, make sure that you're always kind of commentating. Um, Again, people just like to have somebody kind of talking along in the streams, from what I've seen
The
in
patter.
the past.
You gotta have a
Yeah, the
good
pattern.
patter.
Absolutely. But yeah, like that's the thing. Always treat it as if there's people there that you're talking to.
Mhm.
Commentate on the game. Do whatever it is that you want to do in terms of that. Um, even just make some silly jokes about the dialogue or something like that. Whatever you want to do. But as long as you're sitting there, you're talking, people will see that you're making that effort, and they might want to stick around. Um, but yeah, like that's it. If you're starting out as well, just don't take things personally. You get into the habit sometimes of like, oh no, like this stream had this many viewers and that stream. Like I've been into that habit myself. But nowadays, if I'm looking at it, I'm just kind of looking at it because I'm interested. I'm not really caring about if it was this many viewers or that many viewers. Um, I just kind of like to look at stats and
Yeah.
like that. But like don't take it personally if you see that this stream didn't have as many views as the last stream. Just keep on going, keep doing it. If you're enjoying streaming, keep at it. You'll get there eventually. And you get if you're getting what you want from it, then you're just enjoying yourself. You're having fun,
Mhm.
and that's really it. So that's what it's all about. It's having a bit of fun,
Right. And if you're not
meeting
having a
new
bit of
friends.
fun, why are you doing it? Right.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Like I keep coming back to it time and time again. If you're not having fun, why do it?
Yeah. And that's why the point of like make sure you're playing games that you enjoy rather than like games. Because I played a game that I enjoyed that did happen to have quite a big community, and that was Dead by Daylight. My problem at the start was I played it far too much. Like pretty much I was playing 3 streams a week on it, and it bored the hell out of me. I had to take a break from Dead by Daylight for a while. It's
Yeah.
just not what I can do, and there's a lot of people that kind of love to play Dead by Daylight on every stream, and that's completely up to them and what they want to do. But for me, it wasn't for me. You
Right.
know, that's just it. Yeah, do it what you're comfortable with, and what you learn that as you go as well. What it is that you want and what kind of schedule you want to keep. Um, it's one of those things. You just as you go on, you keep on learning new things about yourself as a streamer and what you want to do. Even check the VODs. Like have a wee look at the VODs and see some things that maybe you might want to change about how you present yourself and stuff like that. There's always wee things you can even learn about yourself in your own streams.
Yeah.
That's something that I always did at the start. Um, and
Watch
you,
your
you will
own
gain,
stuff.
yeah, you gain more confidence. You might cringe a wee bit with your own voice, but I definitely did that a few times. But yeah, um, it is useful to be able to go back and do that
Oh,
once you get over that.
I have such cringe moments. Every time I go back and rewatch something I've done, I'm like, oh God, why did I say that? Oh, that was so cringe.
Yeah, I've had those moments. Yeah.
And then you look and you're like, oh, thank God nobody clipped it.
Oh, yeah. I've not
Ooh.
I've not had somebody clip it yet. I know.
Oh, I've had
Oh,
I've had some cringy moments clipped, and I'd be like, why no, oh God, you did it, you did the
also, what
thing.
there is one other thing that I can say from memory. You mentioned a
Hmm.
game that I did not expect you to mention at the start at all. I was like, what? That's a long way back. You brought up At Dead of Night on your intro, and I
Oh,
was like, whoa, that was ages ago.
look, I do my homework
Yeah, like that
when
was one of my
I
first streams, I think.
when
It was
I
at the
when
start anyway.
yeah. when I go out and do homework for my guest, I do my homework. So
Those moments can be good for clips, though. When that's true.
Mhm.
Yeah. But
Oh
yeah, like
yeah.
at Dead of Night, that was another piece of advice that I could give. That game was a game that I didn't look into before I played, and I got it suggested after some kind of a redeem thing.
Hmm.
And I knew it was a horror game. I knew kind of what it was, but I never looked into it. Now, some of the scenes in that game are like pretty nasty. I actually felt like I had to do a what would you call it again? That name's gone. Uh, when you have to inform people when they come in, what's that called again?
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
you
just
had to bring it up
escape.
and ask me now. I'm like trigger warnings, trigger warnings.
Yeah,
Haha.
a trigger warning. That's
Got
the
it.
one.
Got it.
Yeah, so I did have to. I thought I might need to do a trigger warning on this because I was noticing a few of the the death scenes and stuff like that on it were pretty awful. I was like, oh shit. maybe maybe I should have looked into this one before I played it.
Maybe I should have. Yeah. There you go. Another good piece of freebie advice on your way out. Research your games before streaming them.
Yeah, especially if you just had it suggested to you. Definitely.
There have been a few games I'm like, oh, this sounds like a pleasant title. I think that would be fun to go stream. And then I go and look up some of the gameplay on it, and I'm like, no, no, no.
Hmm.
Oh God, no.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I didn't do that time, so lesson learned. Oops.
Whoopsie. Ah.
Well, like, that stuff doesn't really, like, personally bother me, but it could bother somebody, so you
Well,
have to
but
kind of
yes, but
weigh
again,
that.
we're back to talking about being mindful of your
Yeah.
viewership and who's coming
Oh,
in,
absolutely.
and not
Yeah,
wanting
yeah.
to scar people coming in.
No, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, there was that game Visage. Um, I played through that, and the thing is that as a horror streamer, I didn't really find Visage to be that scary. A lot of people were, really do struggle with it, and I'm like, okay. It was, it was good, but I wasn't like feeling what people were telling me I was going to feel. I guess,
Well, that's fair. I mean, everybody
yeah,
has their own
yeah,
take
yeah.
at what's scary for them, right?
No, absolutely.
I had people
It was
swear up and
difficult.
down Phasmophobia was going to scare the pants off of me, and instead I laughed like
Mm-hmm.
an idiot through the whole game. I'm like, this is
Faz,
not scary. What are we scared about?
Faz
Nah.
is, yeah, Faz is more of a ghost hunting party game, I'd say. It's just a bit, it can be wacky if the jump scares are kind of hilarious, and once
What
you've
jump
played it
scares? There's no
as
jump
much
scares in that.
um, when the ghost shows up out of nowhere, that can, obviously give you a bit of a jump.
Demonologist has
Yeah,
way more jump scares
that one's awesome.
than
I love
Phasmo.
Demonology. I've not played it for a while, but I'd love to get back into that again.
You should go sit down and talk with a Jilly Bean then. Jilly
All
Bean
right.
does a regular demonology game on
Hmm.
Sunday or Saturday. I think it's Saturday.
All right.
Speak
Well, I
for
mean, Kyle,
yourself.
you
Well,
you you play in VR. You're kind of asking for the jump scares. Ah.
I think some people beg for the scary bits. But definitely demonologist over
Oh,
Phasmo.
well, of course. I mean, actually ask for it when you get your chat to do
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
it.
But
Noddy's sound, jump scare sound effect things are quite good. Do them, yeah, do the mic.
it's fine.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so let's do this. Let me see if I can remember how to do this. Okay, that should have done a thing. That better have done a thing. That did do a thing. So up top of your chats, ladies and gentlemen, there should be a little heart that just showed up. If it's not lit up, then quite frankly, you're doing it wrong. You've spent 3 hours listening to this fantastic and fabulous streamer out here. You should definitely hit that button, light it up, go follow, and then go check out Aglocky Gaming sometime when they go live on twitch.tv. It's going to be a good time. I promise you, you'll enjoy yourself. If you've been enjoying this much, then you're definitely going to enjoy watching them live and in charge running their own stream. And just because we can, we'll do one other one. I think this works. I'm hoping I did not turn it off. There should be. Maybe.
Thank you.
Oh. Nope. For whatever reason, it's not working. Well, that's a bit annoying. Yeah, it should have popped up there. Oh, well. I don't know. I don't know why. Oh, hang on. I might be able to make this work anyways. 1 second. Where are you? Come here. Kick that again. We'll kick that. We'll come back around to this, and then we'll try this one more time. And if this doesn't work, then I will apologize. And oh, we get you on a platformer this time. I know this game.
Yes. What is that called again? Sheep. I don't know. It's something to do with Silent Sheep or something like that. I don't know. It's free though. It's a free game.
Yeah, there you go. Free game.
Yeah. It was actually quite good for that. For a wee free game. I'd recommend it.
There you go. So there's some Glocky gameplay. There would have been the heart for everybody. And because we're not quite done yet, you, my friend, you get to follow me because we're almost done here. Because what happens next? That's right. It's the end screen. Look, it's my own personal joke. Like I try to sneak it in there at the very end, but I can't help it. But Glocky, thank you for hanging out. Thank you for coming out. Thank you for being an amazing guest and being so entertaining and giving us your time.
That was a lot of fun.
For this day.
Really enjoyed it.
It's been an absolute delight. You still have to pick out where we're going to send this raid off to. I've got music playing in my ear while we're still sitting around here talking, saying goodbye to everybody. But you still have to select raid targets. Like,
okay.
Who do you want to go say hi
to? I'd like to go and say hello to our friend Birch Twigs. Birch is doing a birthday week. Yeah, he's in a birthday week stream.
That's BIRCH Twig. Is it with an S?
Yeah,
or just what?
It's with an S at the end. Yeah, they're doing a birthday week thing where it's like day 2 and they're doing community night with playing some Peak and stuff. So go and say hello to
Excellent.
Birch.
Okay, well we'll go say hi to Birch Twigs then. For those of you sticking around, that should be this command. We'll see if I can get this right. That should do something. So there are all of the raid messages. Are you actually going to throw a thing up here though? No, probably not, because it's either I typed the name. Did I type the name wrong? Oh, God. I don't know. I now have to go look. Did I type the name wrong? Everybody else I was watching is all rated out.
No, that's fine.
No, it's probably just that stupid app on that page is not rendering right, and I need to go do a little kick it in the pants. But I'm not going to bother with that right now. Yeah. Okay, I did spell it right. Haha. For all of you that are sticking around, the first raid message is for all of you fantastic subscribers. The second one's for all you fantastic followers. Whichever one you can use, grab it, copy, spam it when we get over there. Wait. Don't copy that one. Don't copy that one. I goofed bad. I goofed real bad. Hang on. Hold the phone. It's the wrong command.
You got time?
Huh? Yeah. I've got time. I haven't. Can't Cancel. There we go.
Yeah. I was gonna say
I was
I
like,
was gonna go
I
with
got time. Yeah, I got time. I got time. Yeah, we can fix this. We can fix this.
Thursday.
Wrong one. Wrong one. There you are. I was doing so good. I'm like, oh, look at me. I'm on top of the whole thing. I have got this dead to rights fixed up. Look at me go. No, I missed a very important thing. I apologize. That's all right. We're fixing it up right now. I really got to fix this up in my system. I just haven't done it yet. There we go. Okay. GWIGS. Rich Twigs. There we go.
There we go.
Those are the raid messages. Yes, those are the raid messages. First one's for all you followers. Second one's for all you subscribers. There you go. Grab those ones. Copy, paste, spam. Haha. Fixed it. I had the wrong name in the message, so I had to fix that.
Yes.
Quick, fix it. Lucky, you want to take everybody out?
All right. Yeah, everybody have a good one. I'm streaming tomorrow if anyone's interested. We're playing some Resident Evil from 2 p.m. British summertime. Yeah, I hope you all have a great evening, night, afternoon, whatever time it is there. And yeah, we'll see you soon.